The link is not. Oh, I see. On which highway? Well, I mean, like, part after the Y?
Are you talking
After the
about a
Y?
weather update?
Yeah.
Is there an update to the, like, we're getting more rain?
And on Elton,
Okay.
one of the streets I wanted to tell you because
The real
drainage. There's a street I
in
drove.
Do it.
Good morning, everyone. Please join us in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, that was my echo. Just a little zoom echo.
All right.
Going once?
Agenda. Pine Mountain Club Property Owners Association, Inc., Board of Directors, regular meeting, Saturday, November 15th, 2025, 10 a.m. in the Condor Room. Members are free to speak on a specific agenda item when the board chair calls for discussion on that item. If you would like to bring up a topic that is not listed on today's agenda, the appropriate time to do so is during the members' open forum. This meeting is being recorded to provide access to members and to aid the recording secretary in preparing the minutes. To ensure a respectful and constructive environment for everyone, we kindly ask that all comments be shared in a courteous manner and remain free of personal, argumentative, and disruptive remarks or gestures. Thank you for helping us maintain a positive and inclusive space for community dialogue. Call to order, Joshua Arman. Mark Bailey.
Yeah.
Candace Bennett.
Here.
Madison Bodorf, that's me. Sean Coulter.
Here.
Thank you. Nicole Gates. Randall Gates.
Here.
Andrea Schoening.
Here.
Douglas Wild. Thank you. Adopt the agenda. Resolve that the agenda for the Board of Directors meeting November 15th, 2025 be adopted.
We have a second first.
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, so we're going to amend the agenda today in a number of places.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to amend.
Use your mic, though, much closer.
I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda and postpone my fire pit resolution until we can get legal counsel to weigh in a little more and I can reword it based on their advisement.
So we do have a letter from legal.
There needs to be more clarification because I think the questions need to be asked in a different way
Okay.
instead of a blanket. So even though it was briefly touched on by legal, I don't think it was maybe asked the way I like it asked.
Because I did, just to clarify, I did send to the directors this week a specific letter from legal reviewing this issue.
Yeah, I think it still needs to be looked into further.
Okay.
So
We'll pull it.
I'm going to pull my resolution.
Okay.
We're going to see if it needs to be maybe rewritten to be more inclusive into what state and what we're legally allowed to do, because I think it is something that does not violate our CCNRs. Everything calls it a kind of a gray area.
Okay.
And, I mean, we have 6 propane fire pits on the deck of our clubhouse right now, which violate our CCNRs technically then. So I think this needs to be pushed because I think we do need a place for those, and there's a place for fire pits and heaters out here in this community because we're a cold weather community half the month or half the year. So I'm going to postpone it and postpone discussion on it.
Thank you. I want us to, everyone, just be mindful of speaking clearly into your mic. We tend to mumble and it gets lost in the audio. So I want us to be speaking clearly. Director Arman's amendment to the agenda today is to pull the fire pit resolution. He would like to revisit that with legal. That's fine. We have a couple other amendments to the agenda, so we're going to do this in piecemeal motions here. Do I have a second to Director Armand?
Second.
I don't think I actually do to withdraw a motion, to withdraw a resolution, yeah.
That's basically what he's doing. Is
Yeah.
withdrawing it. It's a postponement, but he's
Or we're withdrawing it.
today.
Okay,
That's basically where we're at, so you don't need a motion for that.
but we do need to approve it as a board, removing it.
You could just remove it. It's his,
We're approving the amendment to the agenda based on what,
but she's saying that there's more.
How do we want to do this? Because I'm going to pull a motion from later on, too.
So what I'm, okay, so what I'm getting at is that Director Harmon is pulling his motion,
Resolution, yes.
resolution for this meeting.
Yep.
You will also be pulling something.
Yep.
And making a change to the agenda.
Yep.
And once everything is done, then we vote on it in its entirety.
I think we can do that. I don't think any of it's highly inflammatory that would need piecemeal. Okay, so first piece that we are removing is our first resolution, the fire pits. Director Arman will revisit that at a later point with our legal counsel. The second piece that needs to come off is the motion to approve the presentation of the clubhouse. We will have our town halls still on November 23rd and December 3rd, but the PowerPoint for that is not done yet. And I want the board to be able to look at that presentation before we have those meetings. So we will do probably a email review of that information next week so that the directors at least see it before we present to the membership. So we'll remove the first motion on the agenda, and that can just come off. I believe that is it. So, Sean, if you would like to either remove your second.
I'll remove my second.
We now have a new agenda excluding the first resolution and excluding the first motion. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor of the now amended agenda? Great, thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll see if we can run through this smoothly.
All right. Okay. Approval of minutes. Motion to approve the draft minutes of the Board of Directors regular open board meeting of October 18th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
second,
I heard Sean first.
Oh, that was.
I'm writing notes, so I can't see. I'm going off of voices here. One comment I want to make, I do appreciate that we've added the kind of footnote here that with approving our minutes, we've acknowledged that things have actually been kind of finalized on the back end. We're not fully done with that this month. We still need to fully integrate the changes to Article 19. Excuse me. That was a little more of a cumbersome process. And also integrate the changes to the bylaws from last month. So we're not fully buttoned up yet in kind of the final versions of these things, but that will happen before the end of the month. So that's my only note there.
Okay. All right, consent.
All in favor of our minutes, approving our minutes. Great, thank you.
Yes. All right, consent agenda. Consent agenda, opportunity for public comment. All items listed under 4 consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion if no member of the board wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone in the audience, the item may be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member to address the board concerning the item before action is taken.
Do we have anything that needs to be addressed in isolation today, or can we just do a full consent agenda approval? Okay, I think we're good. We can do a full blanket. Do I have a second to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Thank you, Doug. Any comments? The only pieces I want to call out are on the consent calendar. Just a reminder, committees should have received the A2 forms for this next year's budget process. The deadline for getting those to planning is December 1st. So if you have anything that is going to need a budget for next year, we want to make sure those get into planning and they can help button up that form and make sure all information is filled out and complete. And then also, we shifted around our consent calendar in the past had October was when we would request members for the election committee. We shifted that to November, and a call to action went out November 1st, I believe, to all committees looking for election committee volunteers. And we will, at a later point, once we have those, that list, we'll approve those. But we are starting the election process. So you'll be hearing more about that, I'm sure, in the coming months. But that's the only kind of thing I wanted to call out on the consent calendar. Okay.
All right.
Just a vote for our consent agenda here. All in favor of our committee applications and consent calendar.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, officer reports, chair's report.
Oh, man, that's fast. Sorry. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay, it's good to be back. Sort of. These meetings are always nerve-wracking. Thank you to those who are here joining us and also online joining us in the rain. I appreciate you trekking out in the wind to make it. And I also want to give a shout out to those who watch our program online. What's encouraging to see is that we average over 150 views on our board meeting Zooms. So I appreciate our diehards that make it out in person, and I also appreciate the significant number of members that join us online every month. It's helpful to know that we're not just speaking to an empty room. So we have a number of things to get through today. I won't take up too much time here. I do want to update everyone. We did get the directors synced up onto association email accounts. So that now means that the board email, if you contact the board, auto forwards to all directors at the same time. And we don't have a lag of trying to forward manually any emails anymore. So that account is pmcboard@pmcpoa.com. I'm doing my best effort to respond to board emails within a day or two, depending on if I can give a quick response or if it needs a little more consult or feedback from directors. And just so everyone's kind of aware of the procedure we have, when I respond to a board email, I BCC all directors. So they are following the conversation and aware of what we're communicating. And that way, they're BCC'd instead of CC'd, just so we don't open up a full discussion over email, because we want to avoid doing that wherever possible. So again, we're reachable directly, and that's pmcboard@pmcpoa.com. All other board emails are being decommissioned. We don't need to have other avenues. It just makes things complicated, so that's being cleaned up as well. I did mention on our agenda that we have a Clubhouse town hall, and I'm very excited to be finally able to present this. You should have received a save the date email last Sunday. Again, those are 2 town halls, November 23rd. It's an afternoon, Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock here in the Condor. We will then do a follow-up town hall, same presentation, but a weeknight. That'll be Wednesday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. If you did not receive the save the date, please check in with the office. We want to make sure we have an accurate email for you, particularly because when we send out the request for the advisory vote, it will be over email. So we want to make sure that we're reaching all of our members and that you also are able to attend the town halls and know about what's happening in the association. We will be live streaming both presentations like we do our board meetings. And then when we send out our advisory vote email, that will include the PowerPoint and the recording from a meeting so that you have all information and can review that as you're casting your vote. I was hoping to have a finished PowerPoint today, or at least before today, for the directors, but it's been a very educational process gathering all of the information and the parameters we need to work within for this type of thing. So educational for myself, and I think it'll be for everyone else when we present, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Lastly, just a update on our website. We are bringing on just a project-based web developer to help us kind of weed through what we have right now on our 2 websites, our northstar.net and our wix.org, to build out just a inventory of what's there so that we then have a working list of what to map over to the new North Star website. So baby steps. We're excited though to get through that piece and be able to hand North Star a package of information that they are then able to start building our new website with. So that's in the works. And we're still tracking for probably a mid to later Q1 in finishing our website, unless some curveball comes up. So that's in the works. We will get into the rest of this. I hope everyone has a lovely Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to the holiday, and I'm looking forward to moving forward the clubhouse and working with our membership on how we do that. So I'm excited for the next few weeks to be seeing everyone and having good discussions. And yeah, there's a lot going on. So thanks for being here.
Thank you. General Manager's report.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and a big thank you for joining us today, whether you're here in person or tuning in via Zoom. It's great to see everyone in the community come together. And good to see EP, Fire Safe Council, Kathleen, Carolyn, Mark Greco, CERT. Good to see you folks. Senior Operations Manager Bob and I have been on board for 6 months and 3 weeks. I keep counting.
No one's counting.
Time is going by extremely fast, and I'm extremely nervous. There's a lot to do. I've got several operations updates. Let's get right on the Timco street sweeper. Last month, we left off with our 3rd repair that involved radiator damage, and the maintenance department determined that there was a defect. We were being invoiced for that as of last month. We're fighting that. We had the sales manager come out with the technician on site to view the defect, which we videotaped. So they agreed there's a defect. So we'll fight that invoice. We won't pay that invoice. In the same conversation, I'm still discussing buyback for that. I feel like the defects and the repairs and the amount of hours that we have on it, I'm really, looking for a buyback, which I'll run through the board and the membership, but currently it's at 160 and 170K, which is very short. We're 222 before tax, and so, 200,000 and above would be kind of the start point. But more to follow on that. Also trying to reach out to the owner of Timco, just trying to be very tactful and patient, but I want to have a conversation with the owner and just see what our options are. And then going forward, we'll make, the best decision on how we can keep our properties and roads maintained, via a sweeper. I do have knowledge of, I do have the contractor that works for Kern County that actually comes out here and does sweeping. So I'm going to contact them and see if I can, as a pretense of possibly selling back our sweeper, I'd like to have conversations with the contractors to see what kind of options we would have with that, which I think going forward might be a great option. Cost-wise and just everything would make better sense. Okay, next, the golf course plan is now in effect. And Leilani out there, thank you so much. Leilani Zielinski is the administrative officer. She still oversees the post office, but she has done an amazing effort of finding a consultant. He's one of the top 3 guys that manages Seven Oaks. And Seven Oaks, hang on one second. Okay. According to Golf Blogger, Bogies Across America, it held the #1 spot among private clubs in Kern County. And the monthly membership fee is like close to my mortgage. But he's an amazing guy. Great partnership and plan, the synergy between Mike Pearson and our consultant, Todd is the consultant. We're providing updates to the Greens and Grounds Committee Chair, working together. We've got plans that are going to involve fertilization, water theory. It's very technical. Gopher and pest control, moss treatment, weed control, pre and post emergent. I don't even know what a lot of this means, but thatch control, including verticutting, where they kind of, cut up the greens to make it more healthy. Punching schedules, bunker plans, the whole 9 yards. So it's great. It's great. It's going to be one of the best courses in Kern County, no doubt. We're also, as part of that, we're obtaining a qualified applicator license, QAL, to do all treatments ourselves, including gopher traps. We're not using poison. We're not going to do anything like that. That's going to save us probably 80% of the spend on the Grego contract, which was 20 to 25K in a year. Killed that, I think, in month 2. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. Next bear update. There's just a lot of work on bear management. I just checked the patrol bear log this morning, actually, and to date, since January, we've had 131 bear break-ins since January. I don't have the exact number from last year, but I'll get it and I'll add it to the recap. But I think it's about 60% less than last year, 75%, according to Madison, and she knows. But so, that's just the circumstances that we face here. But I've attended bear committee meetings, several, spoken with several concerned members. There's a lot of members that provide input. Finn Migan, has provided a lot of input, as well as other members, on what they feel that we should do to improve. Current focus continues to be educate our membership on how to manage your home and prevent break-ins. Another focus is reporting each and every occurrence. So reporting is critical to Fish and Wildlife and the assigned biologists. That data helps them manage their assigned territories. It's preferred by them that each homeowner directly report to Fish and Wildlife, and I have a few links that will be on the recap. But, I mean, if I think there's a predicament here that a lot of members feel like maybe they don't report bear break-ins or activities because they don't want anything negatively to happen to the bears. But I would recommend reporting all data, all activity, all break-ins, either to patrol or directly to Fish and Wildlife. It's just going to help see the big picture on what needs to happen here. We're discussing options and possible procedures to allow members to report to patrol, but that's something I really have to review, all governing documents, laws, just, everything's liability. And we want to make sure that we're not in between a process that needs to happen officially. The association has provided our warden, Brian Peters is our warden, one of them, evidence and data on recent bear feeding, wildlife crimes that have taken place here. Had a good conversation with him. He's reviewing all the data, but, it does force us to look internally a lot closer on our procedures with patrol and everything that we do for the protection of not just the members and property, but also, privacy. So more to follow on that. I really wanted to put more information out on it, but I'm really reviewing everything, leaning towards getting a consultant, a security consultant in here, much like we're doing with the golf course, so that we can ensure that we're doing everything according to the laws and HOA management. Okay. Want to say thank you to Peak for inviting Bob and I to the Veteran Appreciation event they had this past Monday. It was amazing. The student government came up to the podium. The whole staff at the school, president of the student body, sixth grader, Aleka Goldberg, but they all had speeches. Played the national anthem. We were sitting before the entire student body. It was amazing. It was amazing. They had speeches with thanks and appreciation. They fed us. They asked us questions. I mean, second and third graders asking us questions. It was incredible. I mean, we had to respond, and it was so much fun. I mean, kids, peak to peak. I don't have anything to compare against, but a very advanced group of children at that school. Very impressive. Had a great time. They gave us handwritten thank you cards, and we each got to pick 2 painted rocks. And you got to see these things. They are amazing. I'll leave them up here if you want to come look at them. But the artwork on this is incredible. It's an eagle and the flag, but please look at this. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. So thank you, Peak to Peak, and all the kids and teachers and everyone out there. I'm very honored to be able to be there. Okay, and lastly, our public safety update.
On the road again.
Just can't wait to get on the road again. Okay. All right. And not making light of anything. Public safety is one of the number one priorities here. The speeding on Mil Patero, you know, as it continues, folks are going to get tickets. CHP is going to be out here. Just met with the Lieutenant Commander, Rudy Alcaraz, and thanked him once again, but he also told me that he threw me under the bus because on a recent stop in violation, one of our members that got a speeding ticket, they gave him a hard time. You know, why are you out here? What are you doing? And they said, I asked them to come out. And I said, thank you. But really, I mean, it's serious. Speeding is very bad. And especially with inclement weather, it's just going to lead to disaster. So, I mean, once again, thank you, Rudy, and your team out there. Continue to help us out. I don't have the statistics. I'll add it to the recap. But last month, there were several violations, 14, 18, something like that. But you know, follow the speed limit, and we won't have any issues. But we are out to protect. We all want all of us to be safe, and we don't want dogs, wildlife, or kids that run off to get, you know, to get injured or you know, hurt. Another update on CHP. So I attended the Snow Play meeting. It's an annual event. Every agency, everybody's out there. Sheriffs from Ventura, Lockwood, Branch, Tejon, you know, Lebec, Forest Service was there, Search and Rescue, USDA, Parks, Rangers. Everybody was out there, including Kern County's superintendent, the road superintendent, Brandon. So met with those folks. It was a good engagement. And actually, it put my mind at ease. They are extremely ready. All departments, all the crosstalk, all the coordinations, they have everything dialed in. It's amazing. Kern County Fire Department was there as well. There are two items that the CHPs wanted me to share and wanted me to help get information out for them. One of them is it's very critical that we do not call 911 for cinders or road issues or ice or any such, you know, anything similar to that. What it does is, I think it's obvious, what it does is it takes away 911 dispatch time away from accidents and emergencies that require them to take those calls. He's literally starting a 638 log. I mean, he said 638 log. I asked what that was. It's a log that he's going to be able to determine what calls are taking away priority time, because this is all about budgets. If they're not out at 5 or 6 when it's icy and it's dangerous, it's because they don't have the resources. They are struggling with their budget, just like all of us are. And I mean, they're requesting some overtime, you know, money, working with Chris Parlier's team, the superintendent, or county supervisor, sorry. But, you know, they're just asking us to cooperate. They will be where they need to be when conditions mandate their need. They have it all controlled. Snowplay really, the primary purpose of the Snowplay meeting is to coordinate their efforts for the checkpoints, traffic control, chain checks, and they do screening. You know, they're literally looking for sleds in the back of vehicles. They're screening because folks are always trying to get into the mountain or up at Mount Pinos, and just very critical, very critical. They have it dialed in, but if they're ever short, it's because they don't have the resources. I mean, of course they would be out there at 4 or 5 in the morning, but, you know, they get out there when they can get out there. But according to Brandon, you know, at county, he's got everything he needs, all his equipment. There were no issues discussed or shortages other than budgets. which, kind of dictate the manpower. What was the other thing? Oh, and CHP does not install chains. So they get asked all the time, but they don't install chains, and they just wanted to make sure that gets put out there. But other than that, I wanted to, there was some interesting data that they shared. They're tracking this all the way back to the 50s and the 60s. In 1959, and we're talking the Y and Mount Pinos and just all this mountain community area. In 1959, December, through February of 1960, there were 85,000 folks that came out here for snow play. 81% were based out of LA. In one single day, they counted 1,143 cars. So, I mean, they are ready. They use the space, lots, parking, all the access, with Snow Bunny Hill and all this stuff. But they manage the space, the amount of vehicles. They know some folks have never seen snow. So, I mean, they're tactful. I mean, they're cognizant of the fact that, parents are bringing their kids out to see some snow and play in it. But they do, they do want everyone to know, rest assured, they are ready. And it was a great team meeting all those folks. So other than that, please drive safe as we approach winter. Always 25 miles per hour on the hill. And watch your speed on Mil Patero, please. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Treasurer's report?
Hard to follow his.
No, thanks. Thanks, James.
I didn't forget you this time, though.
Okay, well, since you asked,
Yeah, yes.
Where's your music?
the sound of silence. Morning, all. I'm going to just start with the update on the 2 audits quickly, and then we'll go into October, which is prepared, done, and reviewed, and ready to be motioned. So we're caught up in that area. But as far as the audit, I was hoping this would be on the agenda today. However, we received it last night. It has taken longer than normal. They're doing a lot more work than normal. I don't know if everyone understands how the process works. And that's the reason is it came in last, we are trying to get it fast-tracked to where it could be on the agenda today. But unfortunately, too many hoops, and it just, we don't want to degrade an intelligent process. So normally, George and I look at this, we go through and edit it, then it goes to the Budget and Finance Committee. They look at it, and then they have an independent review with the auditor on Zoom. No management in the room. They're able to ask any questions they want and make the auditors as uncomfortable as they want. It's a healthy check and balance on the whole situation. So in other words, we just basically had no time to get this together. However, it is here. And one of the reasons for we were still catching up when the audit started. We were probably still a month or so behind. And now, as I said, it's November and we have October numbers to look at. So we're back on track getting timely information. But, and I've recapped the prior year, but what the auditors have to deal with is all the transitions that occurred during fiscal 25. You had the sync system that had to be now moved back to North Star without the benefit of any parallel processing. Our banks had all be moved back from an internet bank back to domestic banks, a lot of setup. All those things make auditors nervous because they're going, okay, you have different operating system, the banks have changed, and also management structure. Our prior GM left in December. We had a temporary, a board chair temporary acting as GM until James and Bob came on in May. And again, I think all these changes have been for the best, but from an auditor's perspective, they do much more digging. And not least, our accounting manager left in August. Unfortunately, George was able to jump in and fill out and start as a county manager in September. So all those things put together, I think they've made George's life a little more difficult, but again, it's called for. And to me, it's encouraging that they're aware of the circumstances and they do a little more detail and verification. So once we get this through the process I just mentioned, it will be distributed and it'll be approved in open session. And again, if you don't need a printed copy mailed, you can check with Michelle at the reception and put your name down for that you're okay with getting this electronically. It just saves paper and saves time. IRS, I think I mentioned last time. Again, the IRS audit is purely to determine our status as a not-for-profit under a 501c7. And the agent is specifically trained for not-profit status compliance. So I think I mentioned last time that because he was put on furlough, so he sent a message saying he'll get back to us when he's off furlough. So everything's been held up. He has everything he's asked for at this point, and now we're just waiting for them to catch up. We'll know when we know, but at this point, we've done everything we can to give them all the information and cooperate fully in the matter. And again, it's just a not-for-profit status. It's not like some deductions looked out of line or something like that. It's just, do we meet the requirements for the exemption we fall under? And to be honest, the other options aren't that big of a difference. So, that being said, as George, for online, I think everyone here should have the last page.
I think we need to hand this out to the directors when we come in.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting
Don't ever
that.
get it.
No, wait, it's to the,
They'll have it.
well, I apologize.
keep going. I wanna go-
Everyone but the directors is well informed now, so we should be fine.
I didn't,
The handout, Michelle attaches it there, so you're right. In the future, I'll remember to have, for a nickel, every director can have their own copy. But, okay, 10 cents, John. Okay. Everyone in the audience should have it. It should be on the last page of their agenda. But basically, October 31, here it is. November, we're up to date. We have financials. They've been reviewed by management, by the board subcommittee, which includes myself and our chair, and the Budget and Finance Committee, who also went through the information as recommended that it be submitted. I want to, I'll bring that up later though, but so in other words, we're back to what should be a normal process, where we have timely information and an ability to assess it and react timely. And if and when we have projects in motion, then George will have monthly project summaries. What do we have? What's been spent? What's going on? So a big accomplishment. Thank you, George. A lot of work.
And thank you, Randall, for putting all this work into it. This is
yeah, really,
more work than any director should have to do.
absolutely.
It's been my pleasure. All right, for the month and the 4 months ended October, this is just a quick overview. The details will follow later. We're better than budget for October by about 67,000, and for the 4 months year to date, we're better than budget by 256,000. In other words, we are on a good track, and we hope to keep that way. And just some highlights, like general and administrative is still better than budget by 116,000. There's been a lot of vendors that are afraid to even talk to James, and they just surrender their options and lower their fees without battle. And that shows up pretty much all over the place, across the line. There's been a lot of savings everywhere. Also, unfilled staff positions still in general administratives puts 36,000 under budget, and legal expenses are about 17,000 under budget as of the end of October. The other biggest variable would be maintenance operations, and which is predominantly the road and area like that. 63,000 under budget. Again, payroll, about 15,000 due unfilled positions. Road asphalting, under by 10, and then we're still trying to figure out what to do with road striping. That's probably going to be next year's budget. But again, there's been really a impressive level of cost consciousness with all the department managers. I think they know they're, as we're coming up to zero-based budgeting, they know there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on what we're spending. So, and also that better than budget, we had 23,000 related to foreclosed lots, which we don't budget for because we can't predict. So even with an unbudgeted 23,000 in expenses, we're still doing quite well. There is $2,117,101 in operating cash at October 31st. We also have $5,181,327 in reserve funds in cash. I can't read your lips, Sean.
It's amazing.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm going, wow, amazing.
Usually when your lips move, I hear something, so it threw me off. Thank you. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, and we have tightened the reserve fund, how it's used, how it can be used, how it can't be used, procedures. Nothing's going to go through a resolution that's going to be using twice as much of the reserves as is allowable. That being said, for October, there was 73,000 in reserve use. And this is for items that were presented by resolution and approved by the board with NTEs. We got 10 golf carts, partial replacement of a equestrian watering system instead of the whole replacement, refrigerator prep table, and the most exciting, 3 new aerators for the pond. I'm sure it just keeps things, keeps the oxygen in the water. I'm sorry, probably wasn't the most exciting. My point there, though, is the amount that came out of the reserves for those 4 items was about $4,488 less than the NTEs. And we still don't have the auctions for the golf carts that we're not keeping, correct, James?
Right.
And so proper reserve management, it's the trade-in residual value, what you're replacing, will go back into the reserves. And so our savings will even be better than what it is. But I know people get worried when they hear NTEs, and I just wanted to make it clear that there's a lot of emphasis to keep this, get the right thing for the right price, and not just spend what was authorized not to exceed. Basically, I'm just going to jump to the assessments collected and the assessments receivable as of October 31st. If you can see, Candace got everyone a copy last time, I'll remember. We still have $637,461, or 11%, uncollected at this point in time. That's still an improvement of 155,000 over the end of September, so we're heading in the right direction. However, at this time last year, we only had 472,000 uncollected, or 8.3% instead of 11.6%. So it's an indication of the economy that we need to be cognizant of. And I also want to use this as an opportunity to point out, Budget and Finance had a great suggestion in that it might be easier if we have a monthly payment plan that is easier for the members to access and manage. Because this comes as a lump sum and everybody's fine until, oh, yeah, that's right. And so we're gonna be working on a process whereby it can be paid monthly, much easier, and give the members an opportunity to spread that cost out over the months, so they're not at the middle of September trying to figure out where to get the cash. So that's it.
Do you want to amend the motion to include the June review or keep your motion as is for October?
At this point, until we get through the audit, and at this point, I'm not aware of any numbers that are going to change the bottom line, but we'll do those in unison when we.
Okay.
Because we have preliminary numbers that went to the audit. Auditors do have reclassifications and other issues, so we'll do those both. And
Keep off the June numbers at this time then.
so, and now I got to go back to that. Is the motion?
Motion to approve this month's
Yeah, we only have October there now, which is fine.
Correct. Okay, great.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Randall.
You're welcome.
Motion to ratify the draft of the,
Randall, would you like to second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Doug, are you also in favor? Thank you. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.
all right. Committee minutes acceptance, committee minutes record. Committee minutes, we received minutes from Bear Committee for October 2025, November 2025. Budget and Finance for October 2025, Communications Committee from October 2025, Emergency Preparedness from October 2025, Environmental Control from November 2025, Governing Docs from September 2025, November 2025, and Planning Committee from October 2025.
Great.
Okay. Recommendations. We approved 2 Environmental Control Committee projects, and there were no cottage industry permits.
We need to approve these, so I need a second.
Okay, sorry.
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Any questions on the EC recommendations? We have a new single-family residence and a solar project. Everyone in favor?
Quick
Yes.
question.
Yes, Sean.
Do we know what materials they're going to be using for this house?
Do we ask that up front? I mean, I think
Yes.
there's rules
No,
for
you
sure.
have to indicate it on the application. Yeah, color and material, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Great, thank you very much.
Okay, members open forum. The Board of Directors values and encourages member participation. This 25-minute members open forum is for the members to share thoughts, ideas, or concerns related to our community. Members wishing to speak are kindly asked to step up to the microphone, address the board chair, and state their name, tract, and lot number. Each member will have up to 5 minutes to speak. To help keep the space respectful and productive for all, we ask that comments be shared in a courteous manner, free from offensive or disruptive language. While the board might not respond immediately during the forum, all comments will be thoughtfully noted and referred to the appropriate staff or committee for follow-up as needed. Questions that cannot be fully addressed during the meeting and require additional follow-up may be submitted in writing or email to the recording secretary, and the question will be responded to within 15 calendar days upon receipt. In addition, the member's name, tract, and lot number must be included. Thank you for your continued engagement and care for our mountain community.
Good morning.
Morning. All right, I think you can hear me.
Yes.
Kathleen Weinstein, let's see, 3567, 190, and 191. And I want to thank you for, at this point, removing that amendment. But I do have a statement from the Emergency Preparedness Committee that I want to get into the documents, so.
Of course.
All right. From the Emergency Preparedness Committee, it is the core function of the PMC Emergency Preparedness Committee to inform and advise the PMC Board of Directors and the PMC community about measures to protect their home and to survive natural disasters. Therefore, the Emergency Preparedness Committee cannot support any attempts to expand the use of outdoor flames in PMC. We have numerous concerns about the resolution that's been withdrawn, including the following. Even reliable devices can malfunction with catastrophic consequences. The high percentage of short-term rental visitors who may be ignorant of the dangers of outdoor fires elevates the risk of misuse. There were no limitations placed on use during high winds, dry spells, or other hazardous situations. The PMC POA does not have the resources to effectively monitor and enforce the limited restrictions mentioned in the resolution. Expanding the use of open flames runs counter to the emergency preparedness objective of proliferating community defensible space and home hardening measures. It is likely to hinder our efforts to assist PMC POA homeowners in reducing insurance premiums by demonstrating a community-wide effort to decrease fire dangers. Expanding outdoor fire usage sends the wrong message to the community about the need for strict vigilance regarding the wildfire danger endemic to PMC. The potential catastrophe consequences weighed against any potential value of fire pits compel our committee to recommend voting against this resolution or any resolution allowing outdoor open flames in PMC. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Hello, Finn Migan, 3566362. Thank you. First, I want to thank our general manager. He and I, the board may not know that we had 3 meetings in the last month and a half regarding the bears and how the association can better serve the members and what can we do to come up with solutions. I was very pleased with our meetings. It took about 4 hours. We had a lot to talk about. And due to those meetings, or brainstorming, I came up with the idea that the problem is Fish and Wildlife is understaffed. They don't have time to take out phone calls. They have an automated reporting system that is really bad, okay? So the idea was, what if patrol helped them out? They took the reports in. We have patrol 24/7, okay? And then they report to Fish and Wildlife, streamlining the system, processing it correctly. I ran the idea by James. I ran it by the board, and James liked the idea. And Chair Bennett, you were the only one that responded to me, and you said you liked the idea. Mm-hmm. So your only concern was the Fish and Wildlife. SOP says that the member has to report it to them and not patrol. Well, you know, as a producer, we don't take no for an answer. So I called Fish and Wildlife, and to my surprise, within a week, I had their approval. They loved the idea. They said, we'd much rather dealing with your patrol department than 3,000 members. Makes sense, okay? So I'm very pleased that within a week, I got the approval from Fish and Wildlife to change their SOP. We now have the permission for patrol to report incidents. We should do that. Now, I expected Fish and Wildlife to be a stumbling block. When you deal with government entity, they are the hard ones to deal with. They don't like to change their ways. They want to go A to B to B. Now, I didn't expect the problem to be with PMC POA. Now it seems like we have a problem. James, you agreed with me that we should do this, and now I thought you would have in your opening remarks, congratulations, members, you can now contact patrol instead of Fish and Wildlife. I am extremely disappointed that you didn't do that. Really am.
Can I speak to that issue?
Sure.
We're looking at our patrol procedures across the board right now because there's areas where we're either not getting the appropriate information or not giving the appropriate information. So in the entire workup, that's where we're looking at how do we integrate bear reporting collaboration in that process. We're not in a place right now where we can add a new procedure to things when we've basically torn apart the whole system. So it's not a no right now, but it's not an immediate, we now have a new implementation and a new plan. We're just not there yet. It's going to take a hot second because we're looking at all of their steps internally as well as a bigger picture. So it's not a no, Finn.
Okay. I understand that, and I sent James a proposed procedure for patrol dealing with bears.
That's great.
It was a one-page document, okay? Really simple. And we could have done that and still move ahead. We're still moving ahead on everything else patrol does. There's no reason to hold this up.
It's not being held up. It's part of a piece in all of their pieces that they're dealing with. So now they have a one page that fits into the rest of it that we can then integrate with all of it. We're just not ready to go full green light when all the other pieces are not addressed.
Okay. It took me a week to get Fish and Wildlife to approve it, and it's taken a month to get PMC POAs to do it. Great work, guys.
We just move a little slower, Finn, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Good morning. My name is Deborah Manugian. My lot number is 350-73253. I'm addressing the issue of open flames. I know it's been retracted. However, I want you to pay attention. I lived 3 years with electric wiring fence right beside my property, right by my driveway, because the chairman, the board, the employees couldn't help somebody get it in their head. Please be mindful. Open flame, when somebody's driving in as a visitor, whether it's STR or somebody's neighbor or a friend or relative, they don't know if it's propane or not. It's a very confusing message. Second of all, I will submit to EC the number of pits I have seen that are still up. And I'm watching the fire lots, the fire wood piles, monitoring it, because my friends who are new, 4:30 in the morning, that particular home on Surgum, I think it is, yelled at me for bringing back my friend from emergency in Bakersfield, yelling at the loudness of the truck engine, which is spec. It's nothing added to. And I turned around and I said, I'm looking at your fire pit and the loudness of your dogs. I'm carrying a decibel reader. And then they started to operate other things. Please be mindful of open flames in this area. In the meantime, I love what you guys are doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deborah. Name?
My name is Mark Greco,
Good morning.
3507395. I'm the Vice Chair of Governing Docs, and I'm a track lead for the Emergency Preparedness Committee. I'm speaking only for myself today. I'm also the co-team leader and secretary for the PMC CERT team. And I happen to volunteer at Red Cross and the Amateur Emergency Radio Service. I'm here to talk about the fire pit because although withdrawn, it was mentioned it's coming back. So it's an important issue for me. I don't want to talk about the CCNRs except to say, had this resolution gone through a normal order, Governing Docs would have flagged the conflict with the CCNRs at an early stage. I'm well aware that committees exist only to assist the board, and you guys can do as you please. But I've noticed that we can actually help you make good decisions. I've also noticed that historically poor decisions from previous boards were made after corners were cut from ordinary processes. This resolution would have benefited from going to Governing Docs and the EC committee, which as far as I know it did not, and the EP committee. it could have been improved by the input of the people in the community who volunteer their time and know the issues. And I encourage on the next round that the normal process is observed. I want to address two concerns that I have. One is a statement in the resolution that says, quote, Kern County Fire Department guidance supports the limited use of propane-fueled devices when operated under specific safety conditions, end quote. This statement is incredibly misleading. Imagine we were here today to discuss a different resolution to raise the speed limit on the side streets in PMC. And there was a statement that read, CHP guidance supports the use of automobiles up to 65 miles per hour. Do you see the problem? Technically true, incredibly misleading. Everything is about the conditions and circumstances. It's not safe to drive 65 on Mill Trail or on Yellowstone. It's not safe to encourage open flames in this forest. This resolution is a policy of allowing potentially hundreds of open flames outdoors without a meaningful ability to monitor or enforce restrictions. It's not about safety of a single device in ideal conditions. Second, the very proposal of this resolution is a big red flag that some parts of our community are not as serious as they need to be in confronting the dangers of living here. I will say that, frankly, the introduction of this resolution and the manner it was introduced is demoralizing and a little bit disappointing. With that, I know my time is out, so thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I want to just make some comments here while you brought it up. One reason why I wanted to keep this on the agenda was to have a discussion because I want to apologize that it didn't go through governing docs. That was a lapse on my end. I was preoccupied with hitting the 30-day rule posting and trying to juggle landing to a committee, keeping that was my lapse. So it was not intentional. What I also think is helpful in this discussion is that my just community knowledge as a member, I consider myself somewhat informed, didn't really ping on my radar that this would be tied into our CCNRs because there's been a discussion over the last 4 years of restricting fire pits. And I'm one of those. We moved here and we had a fire pit when we moved in, propane. And then there was the whole EC rule revamp in the last couple of years that brought that down to 0 fire pits, no propane, anything at all. And I'm thinking, well, that's really strange. We didn't amend our CCNRs in the last 4 years. So unfortunately, there has been a bit of a legacy with this provision that hasn't, to my knowledge, been very good about tying itself back to our CCNRs. So I'm very appreciative that it was flagged because, again, the kind of common knowledge for us was it was a rule. And if I had not lapsed, it would have gone to governing docs and hopefully been flagged before it got this far. So I appreciate that. I'm also now glad that we are reminded of so many things that seem somewhat unrelated that do tie back to our CCNRs. And I'm hoping that going forward, we do have a really solid system in making sure that every I is dotted and T is crossed so we don't have this encounter again. So I appreciate your notes, Mark.
Thank you. Some of mine is going to be a little bit redundant because you've already heard it, but it's in my notes, so I'm just going to go for it. Track and lot number 3508530, Carolyn Gilbert. First, I wanted to bring up that in resolutions, we don't generally put a person's name. We just put the like general manager, chair, because of the fact that in a resolution, if that remains seen, and the general manager changes or the chair changes, now you've got a conflict with the officer and a name. So it's generally, you don't usually say somebody like the chair and Candace Bennett, because I don't know if you'll be chair next year, and the resolution has your name specifically. So
This
just
is
an FYI.
only for contracts that are being signed in the immediate right now. That's why it's there.
Just giving you mine.
Thank you.
So in response to the propane pits, as we've mentioned, the CCNRs do require a 55% membership approval to change. Making a resolution to add a fire pit is against the CCNRs when the CCNRs specifically state 5.2 barbecues, exterior fires, there shall be no exterior fires whatsoever. And I know that you have also put that in the resolution, but that takes precedence, and it really doesn't really matter what Kern County says, because our CCNRs can be and are stronger than what the city says. It does allow for barbecues in a confined receptacle designed for such purposes. That pretty much takes care of that. But I want to personally say that in regards to the propane pit resolution, which again did not go to the governing docs, which would have flagged it, not only are they against the CCNRs being ignored, the fact that we live in a tinder forest and putting us all at a risk is extremely insensitive to us all. We are all doing what we can to be fire wise, and this is just one step in the wrong direction. We already have issues getting home insurance, and this isn't going to help us at all. In fact, I just read 2 different articles that if you do not state you have a propane fire pit in your backyard and it starts a fire, they can actually, your insurance can deny you a repair based on that. And my last sentence is that I'm very disappointed that the board wants to consider entertainment over our safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Hello, Janusz Kokol.
Sorry, can you repeat your name into the microphone?
Janusz Kokol, 350-8470. I just have a quick request. I was contacted by some of my clients regarding fencing regulations, and they would like to have a fence just like their neighbor, but they were denied to have the same height because the rules were actually reversed, I was told, a few years ago. So since we're paying the same association fee, we should have the same rights to improve our properties, and this means that if my neighbor next door can have it 5-foot gate, I would like to have it too. So it's kind of something which we should take under consideration when the changes are being made, and already hundreds of permits were issued by EC to have this particular hive already installed.
I understand that.
Thank you.
My knowledge right now, we did a big overhaul of the EC rules in the last couple of years. That's probably where things changed. I would recommend at this point, can your clients please reach out to our EC office and Joe Layden,
Yeah.
and we can kind of go through the proper review process and see what our options are.
It might just be
No,
something that they have to revisit the site and have a look at it.
Yeah, he already actually got a permit, but the problem is I asked him to leave the requirement of 25 feet in front of the property without installing the fence. So he got everything installed except the last part with the gate plus the fencing. But there were some other people telling me the same story, because one of my clients got a visitor wandering around his house, taking pictures, going to the backyard even, and I called security. And some people are just concerned with the safety. They don't want people going on their property and snooping around, because they don't feel comfortable. And I think if they're willing to spend a few $1,000 and have a fence, I would let them just do it. If they feel safer and more comfortable, why not?
Were they referring to our EC officer on their property taking pictures?
No. This was a
So
stranger.
just a stranger?
Yeah, the security came, but the guy was already gone.
Yeah. There's limitations to what we can do in that capacity because we don't have kind of personal security up here. And it is an open access community essentially. So there's limitations of how we can police strangers from walking on people's properties.
No, I know. But the thing is, if you have a fence, then it's kind of more difficult for the guy to get in.
For sure. And fences are not banned, but there are certain parameters for what they need to be. Part of that is to not wall off kind of the nature paths that are up here. There's a lot of foot traffic, just animal-wise.
No,
So
I
I don't know the nature of what they were requesting in their fencing. But right now, if they're looking for a new path forward or a different path forward, I recommend that they go back to our EC office and go through that process and the board can facilitate from our end with the EC department, we can't really make any decision or change anything at this level without that added information.
Okay,
That would be great.
thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hi, good morning. I'm Mel Weinstein, 3567-190 and 191. James, I'm so glad you got to go to the school for Veterans Day. That the school is actually one of the real treasures of this mountain. I've been fortunate enough, I've been on that board now for 9 years, and I've never seen the school thrive as much as they are now. The amount of activities, we have a wonderful new principal, we have a story every other week in the Mountain Enterprise, and it's so wonderful to see that people are realizing what a wonderful place Peak to Peak is. The other thing I want to mention is that, unfortunately, I couldn't be there for Veterans Day because I was here for the memorial being unveiled in Pine Mountain Club. And if you haven't seen it yet, it is spectacular. There must have been over 150 people that came to that, and every veteran was mentioned by name. All the different families that donated money had their photograph taken. And I'm very proud to say that I was the photographer there for that event. And the newspaper has, I think, 14 pictures about the event. And there's a really beautiful story that the editor wrote about it. So please take a look at it. And, you know, it's about time. I have a philosophy that it's impossible to thank a veteran for what they've done. But I think to see the way the community came together for that event really warmed my heart. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mel. We have, come to the mic, please. Sorry, we have a line here.
Hi, Bob Wyant. I'm your operations manager at the moment, not a member. It's a quick PSA. We have been clearing drains ahead of the storms and checking your operations on our roads. We do have a couple of streets up high that are flooded now. Zurich is one of them. Everything's coned off. Roads crew is coming in to clear drains. But for the interim, avoid that. And I believe we have some more information coming on Milpitar Highway, but that's also closed because of debris flows. The 2 inches of rain that we were expecting has now gone to 4 inches and up. So the whole picture's changing as we go. But that's just a quick announcement. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
This is my second time. Should I write down my comments to you or?
Give Vicky the floor, please, first. If we have a hot second, we'll address it. Thank you. Vicky, come on up.
Hi,
Good morning.
I apologize for not having my number with me.
I think we'll figure out who you are.
Yeah, so I have multiple PMC residents stuck on either side of the closure. There's 4 mudslides between the Midway Gas and the Flying J.
Oh my gosh.
This is normal. It happens every time we have a forecast of 2 inches or more. We have had 15 feet of mud sitting on the mudslide closest to the Midway. It's not to that point yet, but don't be surprised if it happens. PMC residents got stuck for 9.5 hours last time it slid. They are in the process of getting people through the first mudslide that closed at 9:40 a.m. I've got PMC residents on both sides reporting to me. Mill Potrero Highway, he accidentally said Mill Potrero Highway, is still open. There is no issue with Mill Potrero Highway. It's only Fraser Mountain Park Road right now. There are 2 lanes of the southbound 5 freeway in the Grapevine corridor that are cracking, that they are sending Caltrans to. The last time we had 2.5 inches of rain in the Grapevine corridor, it was closed for 3.5 days. I actually got stuck on one side of it and had to come in the back way. Residents have been taking the back way out since about 9:30 this morning. There are rocks, but people are making it out that direction. Now switching to the fire pit.
Thank you for that crucial weather update.
Yes.
Back to you.
Just, you know, because literally right now you can't leave and get to the 5.
For sure, thank you.
Okay, but they're in the process of working on it. The fire pit thing. It's been banned for, I don't even know, 5-6 years now. We have had 3 different fires started by bears where people aren't standing outside, they're not monitoring their propane fire pit. The fire propane pro pit got knocked over by a bear, started the entire deck on fire, burning 20 feet of it. Another one was over in the mobile section. A bear knocked a propane, same fire pit thing over. They actually called me because it was a bear incident instead of calling 911. And it started a tree on fire. Every time I answer the phone, I always am like, did you call 911 first? But, you know, in no way can patrol drive by every property and try and figure out, is that a wood fire pit or is that a propane fire pit? That would require them to get out of their car, walk around to the other side of their house, just wasting tons of patrol time. But not only that, it's just, we are so dry, except for today, that it's just not even it's really a severe safety issue. I don't even think you should waste time on a propane fire pit issue at all. That's all I have to say on that issue. We do have snow possibly coming Monday, Tuesday. It's storm part 2. Obviously, this first part does not have any snow. We might get a little bit tonight at the very top. The elevation right now, they're saying Monday night is 6,400 feet. So, you know, possibly ice issues Tuesday morning going up to exit, assuming they get the mud out of the way. That's it.
Thanks, Vicki.
Altitude on this guy. Elizabeth Gilbert, lot number 3508530-000. I just wanted to make sure on a resolution 05-1115-2025 that they describe what a telescope housing agreement is, because I don't understand what it actually does.
We'll go into detail when we get there,
Okay,
for sure.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Deborah, if it's quick, last little bit, and we're moving
Yeah,
on.
the last little bit is, referring to electric wiring fence and the fire hazard that it was, I did go to the county and I did get help. And I'm just saying that that we are a community, but we're not the only ones who oversee and have power what goes on in our community.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, okay.
I'd like to take some time.
Let's maybe write something, Josh, in our recap.
I wrote we have a debt statement. I knew that this was going to be a hot top button, and it seemed like it was a hot top button based on not a lot of research on fear-based. And we can't govern based on fear-based.
Use your microphone, please, first, so we can all hear you.
Yeah, we can't govern based on fear-based, like, oh, something might happen. I mean, the truth of the matter is, if this mountain goes in, according to the fire department, when I talk to them, if this mountain goes up, it's probably going to be from arson.
Couple minutes. Can we do it in a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Great, let's do it.
First off, the resolution doesn't actually violate the CCNRs because the CCNRs say that there's no exterior fires. Propane fire pits are not considered exterior fires, not by CAL FIRE, not by Kern Fire, not by California State or federal. So it doesn't actually exclude those. It falls under the same category as a barbecue. So it doesn't violate our CCNRs. I mean, is any more than somebody lighting a cigarette does. When I asked about the numbers of propane fire pit fires that are recorded, and they said, we don't have those numbers because it doesn't happen. The head fire investigator said, in my 30 years of investigating fires up here, I've never gone to one that was started because of a propane fire pit. He goes, we don't have those numbers because it's just, I've never seen it. When you look it up online, there's no data for it because they're extremely safe. What's not safe is cigarettes. Cigarette fires, over 1,100 this year in California, cigarette fires. Are we going to ban cigarettes? Are we going to ban smoking up here? We can't do fear-based governance, and we already have over-governance as it is. So I built this resolution as something that falls in line with state and federal laws, that doesn't overstep and overgovern. When Mark pointed out that he thought there wasn't enough restrictions on it, well, those restrictions fall back to state and county. We don't need to put those restrictions because they're already built in place. We have to build things in plain spoken English, which is how this document was written. It can't once we start adding all these little things, these little minutiae, all of a sudden it's not enforceable. So in order for it to comply, it had to be written like this. Just because we make it okay doesn't mean that there's not other restrictions that go into place because of county and state. So a lot of the things that were brought up, like, oh, the past fires, again, arson. Palisades was caused by arson. It wasn't because anybody had any type of fire pit or patio heater. Had nothing to do with that. And they had some of the strictest fire setbacks and codes that there was. I mean, if a fire hits this area, it's just going to hit this area, and we're going to have to do the best. Our firefighters are going to have to do the best at responding to it, and that's all we can hope for. But limiting people's rights by saying you can't do something that California and absolutely says is okay because of your fear is not something we should be doing. We should be governing that. And saying the excuse of, oh, Airbnbers, come up and they don't know. I'm sorry, but that is a big excuse that's not valid. You have to assume that people are educated enough to know what they're doing and responsible enough. So governing out of fear is something this community should never do. And as a fully trained firefighter, and as somebody, Mark, who does have all those certifications you were talking about, cert,
Josh,
all the way up to 800 level.
You're speaking to the board. We're not going to single out members.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm just bringing my
It's fine.
what I have.
Keep it up here, please.
I am certified to the 800 level ICS, plus other FEMA and other Coast Guard certifications for search and rescue, for fire mitigation. I have those. I've done that job. I know what it takes to put this in place, and I've studied those with a fine-tooth comb. I didn't take this lightly, just think, oh, I just want to be warm from a propane fire pit. I looked at the risk and the benefit. I talked to the community, and largely, I've gotten a huge output from the community saying, yes, please, propane fire pits. It makes sense. They're completely safe. Everything that's been brought up so far has been just mostly conjecture. There's been no proof. I talked to the EP committee, and Joe mentioned nothing about bears knocking over fire pits. So I'd like to see the facts on that because it sounds, honestly, fictional, or somebody's excuse for what something happened. They're very safe. I contacted our local fire department, our county fire department. I talked to Joe. I talked to Andrew at the EP committee about it originally. Everyone was like, yeah, give me a thumbs up. Every single one of those people. And yes, I can hear you. Andrew did give me a thumbs up, but I talked to him. So maybe he changed his opinion based on what you guys wanted, but I was given a thumbs up. This doesn't violate the document, our CCNRs, the way I've written it. When legal brought up the fact that it might affect how insurance is looking at us, that's something different that we can look into. And I think we should ask insurance about that. How does that actually affect us? If it's negligible, I think we should move forward with something like this. But restricting people's rights because of fear is never okay.
Okay, we've heard, hold on, guys. We're not going to get into a debate right now. We've pulled this from the agenda. I gave Josh the opportunity to say his piece. The members have said their piece. Josh right now knows his directive and his next steps. He can bring the issue back again to the board. At that point, we will go through the full debate at the board level. Again, this is not one director's decision. It needs to be decided by the full board, and it needs to be in compliance with all of our governing documents. And if it does affect any of our governing documents that need a member vote, then it goes to that step as well. That is where we are right now. I don't want to spend any more time on this because we did remove it from the agenda for today, and we have a lot to still get through. Okay. Thank you, Josh. Addison.
Okay, we have no old business. So now on to new business. And first we have Director Randall Gates.
Your second resolution, yes. 02.
Yeah, I, Director Randall Gates, move the adoption of this following resolution as submitted, which is Resolution 02-11-15-2025 regarding removal of Association Rule 2211. And as submitted, I don't need to read all the whereases for you, so we can try to make some time here. If someone wishes some clarity, they can please let me know.
Just articulate, 2211 is our STR cap of 25%, correct?
Yes, exactly. And-
Just so
and
members
really-
know what we're talking about.
And from construction of resolutions, I believe it's good to keep historical context. So someone looks 3 years from now, they don't have to wonder, see something out of context. So it's a little TMI, something I've never been accused of, but to me, I like having a document that puts it in the context so that someone looks at it, they're not having to do any more research. But basically, the first.
Let's, if you're not going to read all the whereases, let's jump to the very last bit and get a second, and then we'll get into discussion.
Okay, good point. Thank you. Yeah, so I move that the PMC Board of Directors approve Resolution 02-11-15-2025 and remove Association Rule 2211. Thank you.
Second.
Reminding me there.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, Randall.
And short and to the point, the first opening line, purpose isn't something you normally see. It was a great addition from our Governing Docs Committee because there's a lot to read, and I think the addition helps. Basically, rental restrictions must be in the CC&Rs. They can't change month to month, week to week, year to year based on 5 directors creating a new rule. And that's substantiated. You can go in here, your CC&Rs go with title, sorry. It's caused confusion here, and this is educational as well as practical. We need to take this off the rules because it's not enforceable. It's really a moot point. We're never going to get to 25%. The economy will take care of the weeding out, but it still creates confusion. And I've talked to realtors who say they still have potential buyers that are still confused. You know, if they're not run the STR, but if I want to rent to a friend for a weekend, am I prohibited? And there's still some of the earlier dates where if you bought it after that period, you couldn't even do it. And so I want to eliminate, this resolution is to eliminate the rule so that it's gone, and also reinforce the understanding of what rules are for and what they can and can't do. In this case, our CC&Rs have never had any restrictions on rentals, short or long term. We have regulations. We're allowed to regulate STRs, but we're not allowed to say you can and you cannot. And so I'm hoping this will just carry forward as a reminder that anything that restricts an owner's property rights, we're allowed to have regulations. Fires are regulations, but whether if one neighbor can have an STR and you can't, now you have 2 classes of membership. So I know it's a bit long, but hopefully all the information's there. I'll be quiet.
What I wanted to bring up along with this, and this is more just to look at probably going forward, there's been some member feedback both on the STR fee itself, the $250, in opposition to that. And the issue being really kind of wondering, what is that for? What does an STR either get out of that, or what are they covering for the association out of that? And particularly the issue of, patrol calls and noxious visitors and stuff like that. We did learn in our survey in 2024 that the STR population was not really responsible for the majority of our patrol calls. It was seasonal residents who own their homes, primarily leading the pack, and then just standard residents. So I think it would be worth just revisiting as an association, as a board, what are we getting out of the 250? What is it for? Then also the kind of mechanics of it. And another member brought up the issue of how do their guest cards work versus their STR cards. Those are 2 separate things. I was today years old when I learned that. You have your STR cards if you haven't registered STR. If you want to change your STR status, you now lose those guest cards. You need different guest cards. There's a weird, just muddied clarity on when is it a paying guest using your property and having guest card access to something versus friends and family, and those not paying for access to things. So I think this could be something that we definitely visit as a board and just add to our list of give it a review, probably needs some cleanup, and hopefully we can offer some clarity to the situation that improves the whole working dynamic with STRs. So, Andrea.
I would also like to, like we're talking about maybe 60 STRs. At the height, it was like 130 around COVID. It's not run by a big management company. No, it's not how it works. It's usually elderly people who make extra income, or moms sitting at home who can't work because they have to babysit kids. It's, this is not like a money-making machine at all. I think it would be really helpful to reduce that fee. I would go for 0, but I'm open for discussion, There have been no patrol calls. I just checked the last log. Again, nothing. They already have to pay a Kern County fee, which is pretty hefty. So they bring all this, they use our amenities, they pay for everything, they go out for dinner. It just helps our community.
I don't want to get too far into the weeds of kind of the operations of STRs because, again, our resolution today is removing the cap and the rule that's not tied into our CCNRs. So just keep that context in mind in your comments.
A couple of things. Number one, this should be in the CCNRs if we're going to have any kind of limitations on a STR. I think a lot of the members' concerns that I've spoken to is due to the fact that we have a new casino that has just been put up in Bakersfield, that we're going to possibly have more people wanting to attend our community for short terms and things of that nature. So there is some concern there. So I personally would not be for removing a fee from an STR person because they do make money at it. They do use our resources. They use our roads. We use patrol. We use clearing. I mean, these are things that we do occur. Plus, we also have office staff that takes time to go through paperwork and things of that nature. So I think that the $250 fee is comparable to other communities. But as far as this resolution, I am very much for it because if we are going to make a change, it has to be made at the change of our CCNRs and not as a rule or resolution or a bylaw. That's my comment.
Any other director comments before I open to members? Yes, Josh.
Yeah, I kind of disagree. I think that I agree with Andrea. I think it should go down to 0. Charging people to be able to afford their homes or make money off their homes up here is not something we should be charging for, I feel.
We'll debate it at a full point. I'm just bringing the note to the board.
Yeah, and I think this is a good resolution. I know there was some talk on Facebook, somebody brought to my attention about it, but I think this is a good one going forward.
Thank you. Okay.
Do we have any information? What do other communities do? You mentioned that, and I think it's always
Regarding STRs or
and
fees?
fees. I think they do use our resources, but that's already baked into the annual fee that the owners may pay. So
That's a note that we'll add to kind of the fee topic when we bring that to the board. Because I think we should be looking at it from all angles and making sure we're not missing any information.
yeah, I don't think the casino is going to affect STRs at all because they have a hotel.
The traffic down there won't let them anyway. Yeah. I want to keep us moving here. If there's no other comment on removing the rule from our rules, I want to open it to our members here if they have any comment as well. Deborah, please use the mic. I know. It's really up and down, up and down.
Retired, really retired.
Really retired. Made it here, though.
I do want you to know that the guest fees are paid, and I count that as income or some kind of payback for the staff doing the extra paperwork. As far as the STRs, I am going to boast. In the last 3.5, 4 years, four people who have stayed at my house have bought houses here. What a great clearing that is. Because they do go downtown, they do stimulate the economy, and they are given other people to go and play with and get to know. That's it.
Thank you. Carolyn, do you have a note? Small world. Okay, yes, Mark.
I think I got 5.
Okay, cool. Yes, thank you. We're running along here, guys. We need to get through. All in favor of removing Rule 2211, is it right? STRs, unless we go back and amend the governing documents, or not, the CCNRs. Great, okay, thank you all.
Okay, resolution number 3, Director Gates.
All right. I move the adoption of Resolution 03-11-1525 regarding amending PMC POA Schedule of Fines and Penalties in compliance with California Assembly Bill 130 as submitted. And it's a long submission, so I won't go into all the detail. You have a second?
Second.
Just as an overview, in July, we were required to move very quickly, and with little guidance, we were allowed to keep, we don't want to overfine people. This isn't a revenue source, but we want to assure compliance with things that are critical, safety and health related. So the first pass in July didn't need to be posted. It went through quickly and to be in compliance, and there were some things missed, or things that have come up subsequently through Joe and others that have presented. Barking dogs have been presented as okay. If you can't sleep, that is definitely a health and a safety risk. Because if you don't sleep, you may not be as amenable in the next discussion with your neighbor who has the dog. So again, this is a moving target, but what this resolution does is bring back, it doesn't increase any fines above what they were previously, but it restores fines that were reduced to the $100 and subsequent evaluation. And there's a lot of justification in here. All these have to be in writing. Every one of them that I bring back has to be explained as to why it's a safety and health violation. And so I guess
Would you like to jump to the last sentence? And we'll give you a second.
We already did it. We already did the second.
No?
Yeah, he seconded.
Oh, I did not hear this, sorry.
You-
'Cause I was reading the first
Oh,
sentence. I was like, okay, yeah, we're starting at the top
I
here.
asked for a second.
yeah, Vice Chair.
I didn't want to bother you.
That's my
You were
job.
busy.
I'm taking notes though, man. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
IDR time.
Sorry.
IDR time.
Okay.
Basically, Appendix A reflects the changes, very short number of fines being brought up to a level, again, not to make money, but to ensure compliance. If they're $100, they're easy to ignore. And this was pretty much requested by EC and others, that we need a little more teeth. So
Agreed.
stop there.
I will just say, my neighbor's house, about 12 years ago, had a run-in with a neighbor and barking dogs and friction there, noise issues. And the other person in the middle of the night came around this guy's house with a gas can and encircled his house and lit it on fire.
Oh my God.
So the noise issue with dogs is no small thing. And I completely support adding that back into this. For sure, we live in a very quiet area and things are heightened in this quiet area. Noise you can ignore in the city, it's muted. Up here, it's not. So fully support that. Any questions or comments from directors before we let the membership? Give me 1 second. Nicole hasn't had a chance to speak today. We'll come back.
My only question is on 2130, nuisance and noxious activities, only because it seems very general. And when you look up the definition of those, it includes anything that annoys, right? It could be a neighbor being annoyed, and I'm just concerned that it's too open-ended. Is there a way to make it more precise and objective? To include what those nuisance and noxious activities can be limited to?
I think we can absolutely look at that. We're going to have to do the same thing to the maintenance of lots. There is kind of a clear delineation, lack of maintenance that now poses a fire risk versus lack of maintenance that is just a visual eyesore. So we're going to need to delineate that within the rule as well, because again, $1,000 fine for a visual eyesore is not what we're trying to go for. So I think we could definitely flag 2130 and revisit.
Let me comment quickly.
Sure.
Part of the original process was not amending the language in the fine schedule, not amending the language in the rules, but trying to cut to the chase as quickly as we could to keep what we need to ensure compliance. So all of these rules need to be looked at. All of the fines need to be looked at, but this process was to prevent us from being restricted to even, to enforce things that are of critical importance up here. So this moved faster. I wasn't given, really, we weren't given allowance to change the actual language of this without discussion. But we were given permission to, in writing, present the reasonings why the fee should be restored to the previous level.
And that's something that we're going to do with our legal counsel too, the big rules cleanup. So we'll note that for sure. Josh, you had a question.
I was going to mention the same thing, 21.30. I think it needs to be stricken. And again, like you just said, I think legal counsel needs to really go through with the fine-tooth comb and see what we can legally do. And we would legally find people and have them make the changes and then submit it like ASAP.
Yeah, I think an overall rules cleanup is the next step of this. It will help us in all of that, for sure. Sean, you had a note.
So, for my clarification, so my understanding, all we are doing is taking the rules that, or taking the fines that we had originally that were brought down to $100. Now we're wiser and understanding that there are certain rules or fines that need to be addressed for the health and safety of the community and others. And now our next step will be to address each and every rule or each and every fine and make sure that those are in line with what this new obnoxious.
So this step today is just reversing a couple $100 fines that should actually be in that specialized consideration back to their existing fines.
Not all fines,
Correct.
just the few.
Just the few here listed that kind of got decreased in the initial pass of this.
Shouldn't have.
And then we're like, oh, that doesn't actually work. These do qualify as safety hazard issues. That's this resolution today. In the very near future, I do want us to be working with our new legal counsel to clean up our rules as well, so that we can also better align ourselves with AB 130. Because there's some rules outside of the law, the new law, that need to be cleaned up anyway. But then there are some that do need some additional kind of siphoning through based on AB 130. Maintenance of lots, noxious activities being one of them, where there's some things where it's like, yes, that is noxious, but not $1,000 noxious, that's $100 noxious. How do we delineate that?
Yeah, I was just being very general, but I just wanted to make sure and clarify for everybody, and especially people online and the community, that we're not looking to increase fines across the board. We're looking to take care of the members and make sure that they understand that it's their health and safety that we are trying to address.
Yes, yes.
All said, all said.
Any questions before I do a second round with Josh?
I just want to clarify it. So are we striking out 21.30?
No. We're gonna, because there's areas of this that do still fall into a higher bracket.
So approving this today, though, would make 21.30 active.
Yes.
Which could put us into position where people are like, oh, 2130 will say it's such and such, and I think that's annoying. You have to do something about it. Well, now we're managing people's lives. I don't think we should be doing that.
We're gonna have to walk that line of having parameters in place and then getting it cleaned up as well at the same time.
So is it wise to push it through with this being on the docket? Or could we make an amendment to this? I can't make an amendment to it, correct?
Do you want to speak to that, Randall?
It's an interim move. In other words, a lot of what we're worried about is going to happen in the patrol, in the notice of violation process or the hearing process. If it's frivolous, not documented, capricious, I mean, there's a lot of ways this can be focused just on things where neighbors aren't sleeping because dogs are barking all night, or, things that are truly invasive. I don't know. I don't have a better answer in the short run because we have to start going through these rules, and we're backlogged. But I think it can be managed. I'm just restoring this to the way it was, and we knew the way it was needed to still be reviewed, but it needs to be done properly and thoroughly. And I think to take it out here right now exposes in the interim till we get around to that other step. A lot of members have issues where they don't have quiet enjoyment of their property because a $100 fine isn't going to be a big deterrent.
But if somebody does yoga and they listen to that yoga music on their deck and it just happens to annoy the other neighbor and they say that's noxious activity, like, well, it's really not. Like, people need more tolerance, but it could be. So are we pushing that stuff, or are we going to instruct?
We have noise ordinances up here. Sound travels. Like, that's a real thing.
But if it's a low sound where it's reasonable, like, who's judging that? Is there decibel meters? Like, there's just
Patrol is not going around though listening for sound. It's.
I know.
Hold on from the audience, please.
Makes it
We'll have member comment as well. It relies somewhat on the members to decide, am I annoyed by this or not? We want to make sure, though, that for those who have reached their last button, that there are protections there to bring a member into compliance with the rules. $100 right now doesn't really do that.
But then it's a civil nature, and we shouldn't be doing things that neighbors should be handling civilly in the.
Sure, for sure. This is just allowing the association to have its kind of pieces here to work with. It's not going to remain forever. We want legal to work with us on the rules. But right now, I would recommend we keep it on so that we do have some kind of piece to go to if we need it. We have a couple barking issue things that have come before the board in this regard.
But that's on the docket. It's already on there, so. The barking of dogs is already on there, so why do we need to have that one as well? I just don't like.
Because there's
approving things
redundancy,
that-
there's redundancy in our rules too. This is why, again, that's on our radar as well, to clean it
I
up.
agree, but we shouldn't be passing things that we know is not right. Right?
I
That's
don't think
why-
it's not
that's where I'm getting
right.
hung
It's
up
just an
on this.
interim plan.
Yeah, interim
So-
plan, but now it puts in a policy that is like, could be anything. That's what I don't like.
I get that. I get that completely.
I think that's what the members are not gonna like.
That's fine. Again, this is not the end result here. I will leave it to Randall. It is his resolution if he wants to amend it or not, and we can get a second to that. Just a reminder, we also don't all have to vote in unison. You have absolutely the power to vote no on it. So again, these are all pieces that are on our radar to be fixing and updating and changing. It's hard to do it all at once. Yeah.
I agree.
Sean?
Just real quickly, when it does come to, when a member gets a fine, they have every right to come in to see the board. They have every right to give their side of the coin, and the board has every right to do one of three things. One, we can dismiss. One, we could give them the full fine. We can give them abeyance. We can give them a lesser fine. I mean, we do have a lot of latitude when it comes to certain parameters. But when you remove some of our tools, like this has done, then all of a sudden you are tying the hands of the board when it comes to safety issues. For me, I believe that this is giving us an opportunity to say, look, if you have a dog that is constantly barking, for example, I'm not going to go into a whole other thing, but if this dog continuously barks and barks and barks, and you as a homeowner are not taking care of that situation, we as a board will come up and say, look, here's the fine. Can you come into compliance? We don't want the money. That's not what this is about. This is about the members complying with having a coherent community of safe and of enjoyment. And if somebody is disturbing them on a regular basis, that should be addressed by the board. That's all. I understand that, but you can't.
Use your mic,
limit it
Sean.
to our-
Mic.
No, limit every-
Sean, use your mic. Use your mic.
Sorry. All right, it's okay. That's all. That's all.
Can I open the issue to the members?
Yes.
Okay. Members, come on up, please.
I agree. Oh, you already have my track and lot number. Do you need it again?
No, it's okay.
I'm actually glad that you are correcting what was the $100 thing. I like what you've chosen to move up. The only issue is that you cannot lesser a fine unless it says up to, which members don't necessarily know. So, but if it's a specific number, then you can't do that. So just a small correction there. And I'm glad that you're going to start bringing this back into compliance to our safety. I really liked this resolution. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Caroline.
It's definitely hard to follow my spouse. I just want to say I support this resolution, Randall, and I understand Josh's position on it that we can go civil. However, I do think the association has a responsibility to the members to be able to help us with some of these issues. And we have a mechanism by which to do that, which is what Randall's done here. And that if we don't have any teeth and we have no way of actually compelling someone to comply, then everybody will have to do it civilly. And that's a lot of work. You know, you can shake your head, but I mean, by the time you open up a civil case, especially if you have to engage an attorney, you're talking about a lot of expense to the individual homeowner. I myself want to live in a community where we all get along and where we all take care of each other, and I support this resolution.
Thank you, Beth. Any other member comments? Okay, back to directors. Are we,
Just want to point out one thing that didn't get addressed.
yeah, go for it.
Relates to Nicole's comment. It's on the
Your mic.
Rolling 1-3.
Closer to your mic.
Our
you.
CC, the language of that one rule is right out of the CCNR 5.6. It's in here, the right for quiet enjoyment. So it just needs a lot of interpretation. But that is, it's almost verbatim, no noxious or offensive activity right out of CCNR 5.6. So again, it's difficult to, in this situation, to change things, but I do think with patrol and the board's ability to discern how serious the matter is, we can at least have teeth when we
Yes.
need them,
Yes,
right? So that's all.
sure. Okay, are we good to vote? Amending association rules to fine tune our AB 130 compliance. All in favor? Okay, I'm gonna write my notes down here. I have Randall, Sean, Doug, Andrea, Madison, and Nicole, and any abstains? Any noes? Okay, Josh and Mark. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay, that passes. Thank you guys for the discussion.
Okay.
Motion to take a 5-minute break?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Let's be back hopefully 12:06, please.
Come on, baby feeding.
Baby time.
We'd like to resume the meeting.
Six.
Randall, a minute to get back. I'm going to be filling in for Candace shortly.
It's I like your jacket.
It's actually okay for once.
I'm cold.
I know, I feel like right in the middle.
I want.
Not yet.
What?
Oy, oy, oy.
You guys have to take out Ed.
Okay, once the directors are seated, I'd like to resume the meeting.
Huh?
Got it.
Directors? Addison, thank you.
We're back. All right. We're on to resolution number 4, which again is Director Randall Gates.
Busiest man on the board.
Yes, he is.
Well, we in session? Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I, Director Randall Gates, move the adoption of Resolution 04-1115, 2025 as submitted, amending the June 30th, 25 reserve study prepared by Association Reserves to predict additional errors and omissions and prior to submitting the reserve study data to Smart Property, preparation for the budget process. Be it resolved that the PMC Board of Directors approve Resolution 04-1115-25, adjusting the June 30th, 2025 PMC POA Reserve Study to reflect the component changed as detailed in the appendix.
Second.
Just background again, this is, we had a disaster of a reserve specialist for the June. A massive amount of work by George and others and Bob identifying things. We corrected a lot of them previously. There were more. There's been a lot of deep dives into items in the reserves. And if you look at the appendix, actually I have the details here. 26 components were duplications. Some of them actually had to be, they were one big group and they needed to be broken up into a bunch of smaller groups. So some of what is in one category is actually then reiterated in another. The net change of the above reduces the total replacement cost by 1.25 million. I believe, George, we've banned any discussion of remodel costs from the reserve study. We have that clarified with reserve specialists. It complies with David Sterling. Reserve study is you have a thing, a component, and you're putting money away from when that component wears out. You want to have a thing that supersized when it wears out, that's not a reserve cost. That's got to get a budget approval. Like for a street sweeper that costs twice as much as the old one. That doesn't get reserve funds just because you want something bigger. But this is, as part of the annual budget process, which is starting imminently, the entire reserve study is going to get a complete review again. All the department managers will update their estimated useful life, the current estimated replacement cost, and we'll all get to look at that. Again, this is just a stopgap measure so that the information that was going back into a useful software program would at least be the best we had at the time, and that will be then what is worked on for the annual budget. So does that make sense? Okay.
Any discussion from directors? Mark?
Yeah, full agreement.
Further discussion? Any discussion from members? Okay, all in favor of Resolution 1115, 2025? All right, motion, Doug, are you, okay, motion carries.
All right.
Okay, resolution number 5, Director Gates.
I just want to point out, in pursuit of saving the number of whereases that we use here, the new format is going to be more bullets. One whereas and a lot of bullets. I just only have so many whereases I'm capable of. We're trying to conserve here. So as you'll see here, there's one whereas and bullets, and that's will hopefully be going forward something more efficient and less mind-numbing. I, Director Gates, move the adoption of the following resolution, 05-11-15-25, regarding the telescope hosting agreement with Astronomy Data Processing Corporation. Resolved that the board approve, motion the board approve resolution 05-11-15-25, approving telescope hosting agreement with Astronomy Data Processing Corporation.
Second.
Any discussion among directors?
I actually think this is very cool, unless it's hosted by the CIA or the Flat Earth Society. I think it's great.
Go ahead, Sean.
For the members, this does not take up much space at all. We're talking about maybe an 18-foot trailer. It's going to be put in the back behind where we have our storage for our RVs. This is a really not only a great thing for science and for our community, but it also brings income into the community that we could utilize for great reason, great things, and help reduce the burden of continuously raising our assessments. So this is just another step for the board to really get involved with the process. And science is amazing to me. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Josh?
I'd just like to add that for the members, it's a small footprint. It's on the back of a trailer. It's maybe 8 by 12 at most, 8 by 10, something like that. It's super tiny. I did ask about if you would see it, and it's so small you're not even going to notice something that it'll just to squash that if anybody has any questions about it.
Any further discussion by directors? Discussion from the membership?
Yes, Finn Markin. I just have got a question. Is this going to be open some days to members? And I think it could be extremely valuable for children to come up and see that and experience it.
I would defer to James on that. James has handled the negotiations.
Talking to ADP and their trademark companies, we're not going to really have access. Our role, besides leasing the space, is to ensure that we still provide, security, present support for that property, as we would for the RV lot. And it is just up to the right instead of a left to the RV lot. It's to the right, so it still has our equipment there. We really don't. It's not, it wouldn't be prudent to have folks going up there. I would definitely have to clear that with insurance, and that's not really part of the contract. It was just, the fact that it was there, and the property aspect. So, sorry.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
So I still don't know what it does. It's amazing scientifically, and it has a small footprint, but what does it do?
Okay.
Go ahead, Sean.
All right. So this particular telescope, it's not a traditional telescope like what you can walk up to and look into. And this is a telescope that they do deep space exploration. And it's all computerized. It goes through their database of computer. It goes directly into their system. We have no access to any of their data. And their system isn't just this one telescope. They have multiple telescopes throughout the world. So, and then they compile all that data. And so it's a redundancy. They find that our community, because we are up in the Los Padres National Forest, we are a dark sky community for the most part. It's to their advantage to have it secure instead of having it just open to anybody who can get access to it. So we're just putting it as a holding place for them for science, and the data does help education across the globe, not just individual communities.
You know, and most people probably don't know this, but if you walk down from the archery range along the frontage road about a quarter of a mile, there's a seismic monitoring station there.
Yes, there
that,
is.
that links up with the satellite. And one part of it is the North American plate, the other is the Pacific plate. And it's a substantial facility. So this is along the same lines.
Exactly. Yeah. And I do have myself personally 2 telescopes. And a few years back, I did open it up to the community. And we had about a dozen telescopes come out to the basketball field, or basketball courts. And then we had Scott Rosen, who does deep space photography. He came out and he did a whole projection. So actually, I look forward to maybe doing that again this next year, so that the community, and we had like 250 people show up, and I gave away a telescope even. So this is something that the community will be able to engage at our level at some point.
And we have a lot of property we can lease to you folks. No, I'm just kidding.
James, this telescope, is this even a lens-based telescope, or is it radiological?
Is it what?
Radiological, or is it lens-based? Telescope.
I'm not sure.
It's not in the.
Is it optical or, I think it's optical based on the pictures I saw.
Or is it signals frequency?
Radiation?
You know, when they bring it out, they start the initial step or stages of installing it. We could ask for maybe a little briefing, or get all the information out to everybody, because it's exciting.
Randall?
Yeah, that might be nice to invite, if there's ever the opportunity, invite them in. I didn't hear exactly what you said, but do a brief and maybe a website where we can even see what they're doing.
Yep.
A link.
We'll do.
Or if we can view it, maybe link it to our
I'd like to
page.
please recommend that, I know I'm only here for a moment until Candace takes over again, but the open discussion between directors is not helpful. If we could follow protocol, please. All right. So, were there any further comments from directors? All right. All in favor? Motion carries.
All right. Okay. Exciting news. Resolution number 6 is not being presented by Randall, but instead Director Wild.
Again? It's showtime. Resolution 06-1115-2025, Mill Potrero Mutual Water Company Contingency Emergency Supply Service Agreement, in parentheses, non-potable renewal. Whereas the Mill Potrero Mutual Water Company requires an agreement to provide emergency supply of irrigation water for the Pine Mountain Club Property Owners Association course irrigation when requested. The term will be from September 30th, 2025 through September 30th, 2027, and renewed upon request by PMC POA. The PMC POA shall pay $3.30 per 100 cubic feet in accordance with the agreement. Water availability pursuant to this agreement is contingent upon MPMWC ability to provide an acceptable quantity and quality of water requested. Therefore, be it resolved that the board hereby approves Resolution 06-11-152-025, renewal of the Mill Potrero Mutual Water Company Contingency Emergency Supply Service Agreement, non-potable, and be it further resolved, the General Manager, James Williams, be given statutory authority, signatory authority to execute the MPMWC agreement on behalf of the PMC POA. If the General Manager is unavailable, the Board Chair, Candace Bennett, is hereby authorized to execute the MPMWC agreement on behalf of the PMC POA. And just for background, 100 cubic feet is basically a square of 4.6 feet by 4.6 feet by 4.6 feet.
Do we have a second? Second. Randall, you seconded it?
Yes. Sorry, Sean.
That's fine.
Any, any discussion from directors?
Yes.
I think I may have heard Josh first.
I just want to clarify for people out there, 100 cubic feet of water is 748 gallons. We're paying $3.38 for 748 gallons of water. That's pretty good, just in case everybody's curious.
Okay, thank you. Sean?
That was actually going to be my question. Because I was going to say, can we negotiate? Nope, I'm good.
Okay, any further discussion from directors? Any comments from the members? All those in favor of Resolution 61115, 2025? Douglas, are you? Motion carries. Motion carries.
We have the same haircut.
Member discussion?
Did we skip members?
All right. Okay, resolution number 7, back to Director Gates.
I, Director Randall Gates, move the adoption of Resolution 07-1115-2025 to approve the renewal of PMC POA health insurance policies due to expire November 30th, 25.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Randall, is there anything you'd like to say?
Again, this was, there's been a lot of diligence of getting multiple bids and evaluating multiple options. This one had quite a few, and it turned out the incumbent was still the best deal in town, and I believe our employees still have a very high level of benefits. And other than that, 7.5% in the current day is more than acceptable.
Any further discussion from directors? Any comments from members? All those in favor of Resolution 71115, 2025? Motion carries.
Okay. Me now?
Yeah, resolution number 8, exciting, Director Bennett. And baby.
I, Director Bennett, move the adoption of the following resolution, Resolution 08-1115-2025, approval of a one-year contract for an inspector of elections. I want to amend this because we're going to give specific information for how to proceed, and it does not quite land where we thought it would with selecting a specific firm. So I want to read specific information with the closing whereases, and we can then second that and move forward. Whereas PMC POA management and the board have reviewed and evaluated submitted proposals in accordance with RFP evaluation criteria, and after due consideration, we'd like it to now say, the board gives authority to James Williams to lock in an election firm for June 20th, 2026 that will provide traditional paper ballots, return postage, an on-site ballot box, and representative on-site with a not to exceed of $21,000. The rest remains the same.
Yeah. Oh, Randall got
Randall second, thank you.
Wow.
I heard the little one second. I don't know.
Yes. Why we're doing it this way, we had a little bit of time this morning in executive to go back through the 4 RFPs that we had for inspector of elections. And there's a fair amount of fluctuation in how firms provide their quotes and services. And then there's also the issue of confirming that a firm can actually do the date we need. So we didn't want to specifically select a firm today and have James go back to sign a contract and find out they're not available on our date. The initial inquiry, everyone is available, but the information we're receiving is that they are getting booked up. So we want to make sure that our GM has the flexibility to move forward quickly and lock in a firm that's available on our date with the specific criteria that next year's election will remain a traditional paper ballot. We're not going to entertain a hybrid digital system this year. We'll look at it next year. And that per our policies, they pay for the return postage on ballots, and we then, pay their invoice for that. And then we are also requesting this year to have an on-site ballot box, so that we're not having issues with mailing everything down to Carlsbad if necessary, and also an on-site rep. So with those factors in mind in this resolution, we want to give James the authority to lock in someone who's available on our June 20th date. Any comments from directors? Sean?
I think that the members will be very pleasantly happy with the idea that they will be able to come here to the clubhouse the day of the election and be able to hand in their ballot personally, and that it will be counted here at the clubhouse and not via Zoom or anything else, so that it will go back to what we used to have many years ago prior to 2020. This, to me, is a sound decision that the board has made, and I am very, very optimistic about the future of this community with things like this happening for us. Thank you.
I'm going to step out here and deal with my child and hand things back over to Nicole. You guys can proceed. The language is as it is. Have a good time.
I just want to say that, that was one of the things that was in the meet and greet that was discussed heavily, is getting electronic voting. And I just want the members know that we are pushing for that. The reason that we didn't do it is because it's just bandwidth. There's a lot of things that are being taken care of right now with this current board that previous boards have ignored or just pushed off. And it's an immense amount of work, especially for the officers. Randall's been doing a ton of work. Candace, Nicole, everybody's doing a lot of work to get things kind of up to how they should have been 10 years ago even. So have patience with us. We are trying to make it happen, but there's just no bandwidth currently. It would be a rush to make it happen, and we want to do things right. So that's why it's being postponed.
So before we open this up to member comments, I believe we need to handle the motion to amend the resolution. Do we have a second on the amend? Okay.
It was Randall.
No, Randall had already.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, Randall had already.
The amended?
Yes.
It was seconded. It'd probably be good to read it back, though, at this point. Just, did she leave the
I'm going to need her.
narrative? questions.
Yeah. He actually seconded the amended
Yeah, I did.
version.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, fantastic then. Any comments from members? Okay. All those in favor of amended resolution 8/11/15, 2025? All right, motion carries.
All right. Motion to appoint the annual budget working group consisting of the board chair, treasurer, general manager, accounting manager, budget and finance committee chair, and 2 additional working group members to be determined at a later date.
Second?
Randall, second. Discussion?
Yeah.
Sean?
So when you say a working group, 2 additional working group members, are any of these going to be board members or are they going to be outside? Do we have any kind of?
I'll let Randall respond to that.
There's changes already in the policy for the annual the budget working group. We've added a lot of information for zero-based budgeting, a lot of requests from department managers that they've never been asked for before. And then they will be supplying this information, and there's a whole timeline on that, which is yet to be formally presented. And then the working group in the past was just 7 members. And when I looked at it, it had pretty much the way it was set up, it had 4 directors.
Correct.
And since the directors have the ultimate authority to approve or deny what comes out of the working group, I didn't feel it was appropriate having 4 directors having a majority of the working group for voting on a day-by-day basis if there's, if there's disagreements. I don't want any dissenting voice to disappear. And so we're actually creating a process why, and this was in Budget and Finance last meeting this week. If there's a disagreement, we document it, and then it gets moved up to the next level where that disagreement or lack of agreement is highlighted, so that we don't just have one version moving forward. So this was my change, and that 4 directors maybe that is 1 year the right decision because of skill set and all that. But at this point, the core 5 members that are mentioned here get to say who are the best candidates for the other 2 positions that add value to this process. So every year it's a fresh decision, not just a routine throw board members into the process. And again, part of this is going to be at the working group level. If there's we'll document any things that aren't agreed upon, and that'll go to then the Budget and Finance Committee with clear, here's this budget, however, these items are not, there's not 100% agreement. So then that committee can address it, and then if it gets to the board, we should still have, here's the budget, however, here are areas that need further discussion, because we don't have a unanimous agreement. Again, it's trying to create transparency and that no one dissenting voice gets to just be ignored because it didn't get approved at one of the lower levels. So this was trying to create a structure where we had the best available talent at the time. That could change over the years. What was your question again?
Well,
Sorry, Sean.
No, that's okay.
Been a long morning.
When you were talking about 2 additional working
okay,
group
so that
members,
to be determined.
Yeah, you're saying it's to be determined. And how are we going to, or how is this working group going to determine those 2 members?
That'll be the first job of that working group.
All right.
To say we have 2.
There should be a backup.
Please, the working group should bring up suggestions as to who might be viable candidates. And then the working group would ideally find the best suited. This is a complicated budget. It's a lot of work. And so the best suited. So other than you, I'm not sure who will pick, Sean.
No. I did it last year. Thank you.
But again, it's up to those 5 to select the other 2. And that will be based on the chair, the treasurer, the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, our general manager and George, to say who would be a productive addition to this process, because we're going through everything. You know, we look at the 22 pages of the financial results, every one of those line items is going to be looked at.
The next question I have is, if a member feels that they're qualified, can they submit a resume or submit their name to put it into the hat so that this working group can take them into, you see what I'm saying? I mean, is there going to be like an interview process? Is there going to be an opportunity for someone from the community to say, look, I have a background in accounting and I'd like to help? Do you have any of that?
In the past, it was none of that.
I know.
There's no, we have the Budget and Finance Chair, which is most of the people who meet those qualifications are in that committee. We have the chair, myself. I would say if someone really feels strongly, it takes the initiative. There's no formal committee application process here. We don't want it to be political. We want it to be based on, again, the committee's ability to work, the ability of the committee to work together. I mean, there's 7 people spending a lot of time digesting things. So, no,
Just looking for
if someone wants to raise their hand, I'll also want to have them consider joining the Budget and Finance Committee, because we do need more people with that background. But, so yeah, at this point, there's nothing formal. I think maybe that be given to the first 5 to formalize how we want to address the other 2. But it's not like a conventional committee. It's probably more like EC, in that the applicant has to meet specific criteria. You know, if you balance your checkbook, that's a start, but that might not be enough. So again, good question. I don't have the answer, but we're trying to, the amount of information we're asking from managers, all that's going to have to be digested. And so we want people that are familiar and actually come in with their own experience. I mean, we've had some suggestions from individuals working in corporations on serious budgets or governmental things. So I guess if we had 3 or 4 to choose from, we'd have to come up with a vote of the 5 to decide what the best is.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any further discussion among directors? All those in favor of appointing the annual budget group? All right, motion carries. Okay. Madison, I have a question about the next motion, because protocol-wise, I don't know if I should motion to amend it. And please, Randall, correct me if I'm somehow missing something, but the language on the agenda says to authorize non-judicial foreclosures, but what we have are liens. And I would like to correct that wording before we move forward. And I'm also curious how they're usually categorized when we're not about to carry foreclosures. They are indeed liens.
Did somebody change the words on this?
I don't remember seeing non-judicial foreclosures in the past when we have liens, otherwise I would have flagged the same issue. So if we can motion to amend the language.
Motion to amend.
Okay. Hold on, let's give Madison a minute.
What we have an executive to approve is the actual.
They're all liens.
They're all liens?
They're all liens, yeah. That's what I've always remembered it to be.
Yeah, I've looked at each and every one, and they are all liens. And in fact, they all state they're in the pre-lien period. So.
That's true. Is that, okay. The documents themselves are called foreclosure lien. So I don't know why the word foreclosure is in there.
I saw that as a title, but once you go into the documents themselves.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I don't know. We can amend it.
So if we could have someone, I think Sean motioned. to amend.
Motion to change the wording from non-judicial foreclosure to lien.
Second.
Josh second? Okay. Any discussion among directors? All those in favor of the amended motion to authorize liens? Motion carries. Oh, wait, Madison, were you included? Okay.
Okay. Motion to authorize liens on APN numbers 316-042-11000, 316-052-09008, 316-024-13004, 316-024-03005, 316-061-06005, 316-052-26007, 316-052-14002, 316-052-38002, 316-032-08009, 316-032-16002, 316-080-26002, 316-080-25009, 316-102-07006, 316-102-0500, 316-142-0300, 316-141-13008, 316-151-16000, and 316-171-25002.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the Bear Committee's updated charter.
Discussion?
Need a second.
Second.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Sean.
Are you seconding?
Yeah, I'm second.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I second it.
And discussion among directors? All those in favor of approving the Bear? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the facility use application for Scouting America for use of the pavilion on the first and third Sundays at 5 p.m., starting November 16th, 2025.
Absolutely a second here. I've been trying to do this for 2 years.
Discussion? Yeah. All right, go ahead, Sean.
This is amazing. Our previous GM, he was a scout master. The very first thing I did was I went up to him and said that I really would like to see Scouting America come here into our community. We are an absolute great place for that. I love that it's a co-ed, and I think that this is one of the most amazing things for our youth to get involved in. And it will give them another thing to actually do and feel like they're a part of the community. So I fully support this.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
Did you ask?
We don't.
I can't see the charter.
Okay.
Vice Chair Gates, the next motion I move to postpone this item to executive session at the next scheduled meeting.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the postponement? All those in favor? Okay, postponement of the motion for Books in the Woods has passed.
Okay. Motion to approve the facility use application for Peak to Peak for use of the pavilion or Condor Room on December 5th or 19th, 2025, from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Second.
Thank you. It's for a dance. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I have a question. I was just curious. I'm assuming it goes through the club that To Peak has. Okay, that was my only question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any discussion among directors?
Rex.
Sorry?
This will go through rec?
The Peak to Peak has a club with the association. Yep. All those in favor? Motion carries.
All right. Information and correspondence. We received the environmental control recap for the month of October 2025 and patrols recap for the month of October 2025. The board received 6 items of correspondence. Directors Forum. Me first, Director Bodorf, Bear Committee. Quick updates. So in the month of September, Patrol reported no bear break-ins, but then in October there were 4. At the time of our meeting, there may have been more after that. I'm not sure. I haven't checked back in with Patrol. I think last meeting I mentioned that we started a Facebook page, and it's called Pine Mountain Club POA Bear Committee, if you want to follow it. We're going to be posting just relevant articles for the season and any flyers or informationals we have or find there. We're going to be interviewing a bear ambassador very soon. We're also turning our research report into a series of informational flyers that will be sent out via POA blasts and posted on the Facebook pages. And we've chosen some new bear signs finally that will go up in the community, and we're working on the next steps with that with Bob over there. So all good things, and we continue to work hard. Thank you. Director R. Gates, or Randall Gates, for Budget and Finance.
Budget and Finance met last Wednesday, and I think I've already mentioned there was, again, they're working well and hard on trying to do more than just review the financial package for the month. We're trying to expedite that so that we can focus on big picture items and then have time to look at other issues and things that need to be addressed. At this point, they did recommend the October financials as stated to be presented to the board, which has taken place. We have F11, which is my amendment to the investment policies, and F19, which is what I just described, which is the annual working budget group details. Those should be, that review should be, so they're doing a lot of work in between meetings, contrary to how it was in the past. I believe I have all their comments in now. I'll then come up with a summary of the changes, and then it will go to governing documents to make sure there's no conflicts or deadlines we're missing. But again, there's a lot of enthusiasm to just do more than wade through the numbers every month, but to look at policies, procedures, and what can be done. And that was where the suggestion came up to come up with a meaningful monthly payment plan to help the members budget their funds more easily instead of having to figure out where to come up with the money later. So it's working quite well.
Okay, thank you. Director.
Not used to that, are you?
Yeah.
I
no.
cover most of it in my opening. So.
Quick. Director Bennett for Communications.
So they met on Tuesday, a couple Tuesdays ago. Oh man, it's a month. At 6 p.m. And we discussed there's probably a need now to have clear Zoom guidelines in committee agendas. Governing Docs has kind of spearheaded some language in their committee, and Communications is looking at adopting that in their agenda as well. And the discussion came around to maybe dusting off Article 19 that we just did 3 passes on and doing a 4th pass to implement some committee agenda language that walks through and kind of Zoom protocol. And why that kind of came up was making sure that attendees, guest attendees, are announcing themselves, giving their name and member ID. There was also some conversation around what guests are allowed in committee meetings, because we're not super specific about that in our policies. It's somewhat up to the discretion of each chair. But at this point in this day and age with technology and adopting Zoom kind of across the board for our committee meetings, communications feels it might be beneficial to put some official language in that all committees can use in their agendas. So we might be dusting off that policy again, that rule. We also touched base a little bit on North Star, and like I gave in my opening remarks, we are in the next step of overhauling the website. Part of our North Star deal, again, is that they will be free of charge, giving us 5 different email templates that will then match our website design as well. So communications is kind of waiting in the wings to give feedback on those and look at kind of what are our general categories that we email out, for. They've also done some great work on looking at print and ship providers for when we bring the seasonal condor back online. And that's definitely looking like the way to go, to hand off a PDF to an outside company and a shipping list and have them produce the physical condor, print it, fold it, ship it. There's great cost savings there and very high quality publications. So we have that information now. We will table that until we have a condor editor position handling things. And once the website is done, the seasonal condor will follow from that to dovetail into our new design and branding. So they've checked that item off their list for now. And then they are diving back into our communication business policies and, bug attack. They've given some initial feedback on what currently exists, and they're going to do another pass now looking at not just tweaking existing policies, but taking a larger look and asking, is this the right structure of our business policies, or can we restructure and consolidate to make these more effective and actually usable to our business practices? So they are a piece in our larger business policies overhaul, and their effort there is appreciated. One note, their December meeting, so they're usually the first Tuesday of the month at 6. They are pushing by a week in December, so it will be December 9th, I believe, yes, at 6 p.m., so the second Tuesday. And then they'll be back to their usual schedule in the new year. So they're doing great work.
Awesome. Thank you. Directors Coulter and Arman for emergency preparedness.
So the Radio Safety Network now has just over 300 members. Are we up and running, James, with the selling of the handhelds?
Yeah, we're still on board with that. We're just trying to get the invoice from James Douglas so that we can actually get it in our system.
Okay, I was told it's going to be up by this meeting, but it'll be up soon, correct? So that'll be up soon. The wildfire track, they're coordinating a meeting with PMC, POA, GM, EC, and EP chair, board liaisons to fill Institute, Cesar Chavez Corp's director. They're performing fire mitigation work with PMC under grants to review the work scope, set priorities, and schedule update meetings targeting quarterly for 2026. The Home Ignition Zone Assessment Program, sponsored by the current Fire Safe Council, is now active and taking applications. Implementation of Firewise programs, as presented at Town Hall, was presented at Town Hall on 10/11. They held a workshop on 11/12, working to increase participation through coordination with PMC, POA, EP, and Kern Fire Safety Council. 4 neighbors in the PMC started Firewise after the 11/12 orientation meeting. EP and CERT finalized the details for the winter preparedness free pancake breakfast on November 22nd. They encourage everyone to attend and learn how to survive and thrive if there's another Stormageddon. Communications with the addition of new team members, posting to social media should increase. And for Red Cross, PMC has 2 more Red Cross volunteers, bringing it a total of 8.
We also have an add on to that. At the pancake breakfast, CHP will in fact be there and present, and they will be discussing road closures and the snow situation that and this last storm that we've had, so that they will be discussing that. Also,
What is the date of that again? Date and
the
time?
date on that is November 22nd, next Saturday at 10 o'clock to 12:30.
Okay.
Yeah, and CERT is a part of it as well. Now, the next thing that you should know is on December 6th, at the CERT office, right next door to the fire department, they will be having chain education. So you'll learn how to put the chains on and off properly. They'll help you with anything of that nature. So that's always a good thing for people to know.
And as far as CERT, I believe right now they actually came together and have sand that you can collect for if you're getting flooding in front of your house, you need to block it off. There's sand in front of the CERT building in case anybody needs that during this rainstorms.
Now, do they have the bags again?
I'm not sure about the bags.
Okay. Yeah, they usually have the fire department usually will carry bags for storms like this.
Yeah, if you look on their Facebook, they have more information about that, and they said they had people that could possibly help.
What time is the chain education again? On the 6th?
The 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock.
I'm going to say this sort of, if there's a flyer that exists for it, someone please email it to me and we'll put it in the board recap email. Thanks.
Okay. Director Schoening for Environmental Control.
Yeah, we met last Wednesday. It was a really short meeting, just one single family home and a solar.
All right. General Manager Williams for Family Resource Ad Hoc Committee.
Yeah, first Saturday of the month, right after the governing docs meeting. So I was there, ready to welcome all the new members with open arms. And still only one member, Leslie Brandt. How you doing out there? So we had a conversation. You know, we're talking about the initial first steps to work on the charter. Haven't actioned on anything yet, but just hoping for more volunteers and for us to get to work, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Director Randall Gates for Governing Documents.
Yes. We met on November 1st, and Gail Patarino, the secretary, had the minutes by November 2nd.
Woo-hoo!
There was a directive that's, if we're going to do it, let's get it done and get it to where it can get into the board agenda, and that's exactly what happened. So congratulations. Good stuff. And a little thank out to AI, I assume, for its ability to listen and regurgitate. So yeah, the minutes were moved up quickly so that they could be current for this board meeting, and that's what happened. And so there's some discussion too on the policy reviews, and we've been discussing that as well. We've been doing pieces at a time. We need to have some way to just sit down and not leave the room until we have, this doesn't need to be there, this needs to be urgent, this can wait, or what is it?
I think we need snacks. Lots of snacks if we're going to sit down and do that.
But again, it's a valid point, and we've had so many other issues arise day to day, week and month to month, that we just keep hitting it piecemeal, and we really have to do a soup to nuts kind of thing there. So good suggestion. Basically, they wanted liaison to indicate that they would like directions on how we're going to be doing this. Business policy E1 came up, which is just the board members are entitled to reimbursement, but we're not entitled to perform services for compensation. They have some suggested language to put into business policy E1, clarifying, no board member should be allowed to be recipient of compensation as, but not limited to, a contractor, consultant, or a vendor for the PMC POA as defined in the Articles of Incorporation. Article V subsection C, for those of you who haven't read the articles recently. So again, that'll be worked on. I'll draft something up and we'll circulate it around the board. It's on my list. And then we're also, Article 19 and bylaw 1104. Yeah, we're still looking at changes to Article 19.
Well, first step is just getting the prior approvals integrated back into the main documents. And that's taken a hotter second than I expected.
Yeah.
And then we might be throwing Article 19 back into the review.
One of the questions here is non-members, ability to attend committee meetings. And I know we've had, it seems to be the choice of the chair of the committee. And I mean, if it involves a reporter, I'd rather have the chair manage the narrative than have it a free-for-all at a committee. So, but again, we need to look at that when we're looking at Article 19 and maybe provide some clarification. But all in all, very, very productive, working well, and we hope that we'll have fewer surprises going forward. We do have an amendment to Article 20, the
Election rules.
sorry, thank you, that fly. Who brought that fly? They can. Yeah, and again, right now, they're drafted primarily to make electronic voting and opt-in, so that those people who don't even have or aren't computer literate aren't surprised when suddenly they've been asked to opt out on something that came by email. So it makes it more friendly. So that, but that's something that will be in the queue, but we have time now. That'll probably be on the December's ballot.
Agenda.
Sorry,
We'll see. We'll see.
we'll see.
Nicole had a question.
I just want to speak to something both for Randall and Elizabeth, who are here for governing docs. When you approach guests at a meeting, I understand the concern around reporters, and maybe it can be worded specifically, because Candace and I, with Madison, she had to go through a process to be added to the title of her property, and until then, she was a guest in planning, an invaluable guest, yet she was not a member. And so I just want to put that out there so that it can be worded in a way that allows residents, valuable members of our community, to still participate, while also protecting us from, public reporters, et cetera.
Thank you. It really, this is non-members, so really, and
She was not a member. It's a different thing a little bit.
She was not.
Where we're trying to get into this is particularly for EP, they invite in usually outside agencies. So not even resident on the Hill, can't even point to, I'm a spouse of someone. It's you are an outsider. What is our policy? Is it still up to the discretion of the committee chair? Because right now, it's the chair, regardless of whether you are a spouse or a member, even on the committee or not. We can definitely clean that up, but I think there's an added level of, is it an invite to come speak or attend at a committee if you are, say, an outside agency or a reporter, or are you allowed to just come in and announce yourself and say, I'm with the LA Times? What do we want that to be there? Hold on one second, Beth. Sean had a note.
Yeah, and with the wording, I think maybe we could look at renters, like LTRs, long-term renters, because they are a part of the community as well. Maybe we could address something like that
For sure.
inside.
For sure. Beth, I want to hold notes until the rebuttal form, if that's okay. Thank you so much.
I have
Anything else? Sorry, Doug.
Why do we want to exclude verified members of the press from our meetings?
I think it's about, this is governing docs, that's the primary thing is what they're talking about, right?
It would be for all committees, but I don't think there's an effort to exclude verified members. Where there's come up some issues were committee chairs being a little blindsided by complete outsiders attending their meetings.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So it's just making sure that we have clearer language of who can attend, in what capacity. Is it up to the chair's discretion only, or is there other protocol that can be integrated into that?
Thank you.
Anything else, Director Gates, for governing docs? Cool, thank you. Madison, go ahead.
Director Bailey for Greens and Grounds.
Yes, we're dark until, I believe, March or April.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Director Coulter and Armin for Kern Fire Safe Council.
Yeah, I'll take this one. Couple things. The Fire Wise program. A lot of people have a misunderstanding of what that is really about. Right now, Kern County has just added 11 Firewise neighborhoods into all of Kern County, which is and in PMC, Fraser, Lebec, we have 0. Now, this is really kind of disconcerting to me because a lot of people have a misunderstanding and miscommunication of what Firewise is really about. They do not come to look at your property and run it right to the fire department. That's not what the Firewise does. You are left basically up to your own
Follow through.
Yes, it's like I right here. I have the sheet where you go in there and you look around your own property. You make the checklist on your own, and the whole checklist is right here. And then you and your neighbors work together, and you say, okay, well, let's come up with a plan to find some ways of fire mitigation. Now, they're not saying, hey, because you have a wood structure, you got to change that out. That's not what this is. There are levels to putting your house into a Firewise, and all it is giving you like an hour a month. Now, everybody who does weed whacking on their property, that's an hour. And if your neighbors each do that and document their 1 hour of fire mitigation at that point, that goes towards your Firewise certificate. A Firewise certificate right now, if you have the California Fair Plan, they're giving like 10% discount. But this is more than just getting a discount on your insurance. This is about keeping your neighborhood and your community safe. All you have to do is, the minimum you need is 8 neighbors. Now, if you have a neighbor that's not there all the time, that's okay. You still put them a part of your Firewise. And you can all working together. If there's nobody living there, they're still a part of your block. So and if they don't want to be a part of it, it's okay. You work with the people who are wanting to do this, and they are just, if all of a sudden they sell their house and another person comes in and they want to be a part of it, that house is already a part of the Firewise community. So when you look at the sheet, you will see there's a little checklist. Here's the participants, 1 through 5. So you have participants, you have your general description, the very simple stuff that you can do. And if we can get, right now, I know I'm working on about a dozen of my neighbors to come together to be our first Firewise neighborhood. Right now, I think we have 2 areas of Pine Mountain Club that are working for this. It's really important that we all come together, especially for next summer. Mm-hmm. If I can get 5 or 6 Firewise neighborhoods here, that will just snowball, and more people will do it. And that's, and coming together having a potluck with your neighbors once a month or once every other month, talking things over, saying, hey, do you need some help? I might not be able to do my part in clearing my property, but I have other things I can do, like emailing the neighbors. You don't have to rely on doing everything together, everything as one person. Each person has their duty. Each person has a little thing that they're specialized in. That is what they do. So, for example, if I'm not good at the computer, but I'm good at weed whacking, I can go to my neighbor's house. Hey, you're going to be working on the computer. Let me help you weed whack a little bit. Let me help you. And then you're helping each other get to that place of being fire wise. Very, very important for the community to really start working on this. And that's it. Oh, also, if you have any questions, you have any concerns, I do have the FireWise or the Current Fire Safe Council website that you can really go to. Kelsey is new there. She's a great coordinator, outreach coordinator. Wendy Ward is fantastic. If you have any questions, they'll be happy to answer them. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Director Nicole Gates for Planning Committee.
The committee is still finalizing their spreadsheet to include a second tab that has detailed wording directly from the strategic plan for anyone who's tracking items. They can just click over back and forth to streamline their working document, their working spreadsheet. And once that is finalized, they will be moving ahead with the beginning steps of tracking each individual action item.
Thank you. Director Wild for Mill Potrero Mutual Water Company.
The water company was dark for the quarter. I was going to recite a koan, but after Nicole yelled at everybody, the acting chair for goofing off, I'll be quiet.
I missed it. What did you say?
I said I was going to, in lieu of a report, since they didn't meet, I was going to recite a Zen koan.
Oh, but I love Zen koan.
Okay.
Lunch is waiting.
Clouds arise on South Mountain. Rain falls on North Mountain. There's your poetry moment for the month.
Thank you, Doug.
I love it.
Yes, yes.
All right, yeah.
One hand clapping?
Yeah. Okay.
We have General Manager Williams next for Pine Mountain Club Commercial Property Owners Association.
Okay, Bob and I went to the last meeting. They discussed some of their internal controls and things that they're trying to fix with their, I think it was a refund, Bob, it was a refund from the last event that they're talking about their merchant, their accounting system stripes. Anyways, they definitely had some deep conversations of what they're trying to do budget-wise. The next part of the conversation was Christmas decorations, Christmas in the village. They're going to have a lot of stuff going on. They're going to have, I think they're solar lights. They have big strings that you can buy, and it will donate it to the village. The plan is to have lights all the way through the main, I don't even know what that road is, but all the way through the village, all the way to the post office, because they want to attach it on our building. So, so it's good. We partnered with Diane Repsher. She came over with one of the local artists who has about 7 or 8 people every week for 3-4 weeks now. They're making all these, I want to say, natural Christmas decorations with like wood reefs, some paper mache, cool stuff. But it's just they're donating all their time. We're gonna partner with the village. The association's going to partner with the village, and we're going to have the same theme. So the Christmas theme will be throughout the village, throughout the association. We're all gonna, have the same stuff. It's gonna be great. What else, Bob?
Trees, they're gonna not have one grand prize, they're gonna split it up into categories to give multiple prizes. For the tree decoration, we discussed the snowplow plan.
Oh, there you go.
First, our plan, Murray's first, and then a secondary.
Perfect. I completely forgot the snowplow agreement, which was the main purpose of us going to the meeting. Clarice wasn't there, but it was Marla, Angie, Chris, and Robert. But Clarice wasn't there, so I have the draft or the agreement that we've used for years. I'm going to touch it a little bit. I definitely need to embed compensation in there, our rate. But they're not wanting cinder this year due to liability. Apparently there was some litigation over that. So they don't want cinder. I don't want to give it. So, but we'll come up with a rate and a plan. It's written very well. I think Joe and Andres and whomever have done this every year. So we'll get that edited, reviewed with Clarice, and then we'll get it signed as an agreement, like an MOU, and we'll be good.
Thank you.
Real quickly, the solar lights that members can go and buy solar lights for them, it's $25. And you can go to,
Ace?
no.
Is there a website or something for it?
Why am I spacing out on the
The general stores? What?
the antique store?
Oh, the Hermit.
The Hermit, thank you. Yeah, you can go right to the Hermit. You can buy them there. Just give her donate the $25 and they'll take care of, Melinda will take care of everything. It's wonderful there.
Cool, I love it.
Yeah, they were only short, I think, 20-ish, like a few weeks ago. So it's
Right, yeah.
Do you have a theme yet? Is there a theme for the decorations?
for us.
For both.
Oh,
Yeah.
the theme that
Yeah.
they're gonna use? Sure. I mean, they have like pallet trees, and, wood wreaths that are naturally made. I don't know what else.
Folky?
Yeah, it's like a
Okay, fun.
organic Christmas.
It's gonna be a war of Christmas lights.
Love it. Okay.
Awesome. Love it.
James, it's Pine Valley Lane. Pine Valley Lane is the name of that street.
The road.
Oh.
I have
Okay.
never heard
A few
that.
times.
Directors, we're so close here.
Okay, I hear.
Lunch is
Sorry.
awaiting us.
Focusing.
Let's stay focused.
Members Rebuttal Forum. The Members Rebuttal Forum is a 10-minute period that follows the Director's Forum, offering members the opportunity to briefly respond to any matter raised by a director. Each speaker will be given up to 1 minute to share their thoughts. Members wishing to speak are kindly asked to step up to the microphone, address the board chair, and state their name, tract, and lot number for the record. While the board might not respond immediately, all comments will be respectfully noted.
One minute is pretty aggressive. Elizabeth Gilbert is the governing documents chair. I just wanted to speak to the idea of the non-members part of what we're actually doing with it. The initiation of that was that the chairs didn't understand their latitude in terms of enforcing rules and how they might deal with non-members. And so this is just a chance to, probably in Article 19, to lay out ground rules for current and future chairs so they understand what power they have as chairs. And they do have a lot of power in terms of who attends their meetings. In terms of the press issue, we were going to have the recommendation that depending on the issue and the board's position on it, we could either invite the press into the meeting or the board could give us guidance and say, we would rather have you have a one-on-one interview with the press, answer their questions, put a more controlled circle around the issue.
Fantastic.
And then the other thing was about expulsion, because it's not really clear how you expel someone from a Zoom meeting or a meeting for the chair. It's kind of a touchy thing. And we've had people come into our Zoom meeting who kind of refuse to identify themselves. And then what do? You have to click them out of the Zoom meeting, but that's probably going to cause other problems. So I just wanted you guys to know that. And one last little piece of Zen for you. The oxen is slow, but the earth is patient.
Yes.
Thank you, Bev.
Yes. Okay. All done?
Any other questions, comments from members? Great. Thank you all for hanging in with us.
Yes. Adjournment. In the October 18th, 2025 executive session at 8:30 a.m., the following was discussed. No litigation, potential litigation, no contracts. 4 forbearance agreements were discussed and approved. Foreclosure requests, there was a big list, Exhibit A, and we did approve them in open. I should say that the forbearance agreements we also approved in open. Hearings, we saw 4 and discussed 4. There were no appeals. There was 1 personnel issue discussed and 1 approved. The next regular open board meeting will take place on December 20th, 2025 at 10 a.m. in the Condor Room.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Directors, we have hearings starting at 1:30. We'll go discuss how we want to handle lunch.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes.